Created by Aramis.
HBO's hit football series First and 10 presents It's Your Choice. In this episode, while Bubba's enjoying some quiet quality time, he's caught by Earlene, his wife. Will Earlene A, show some understanding, B, suggest counseling, or C, beat him with a bullwhip? It's your choice. It's irreverent. It's irresponsible. Only HBO would dare run a series like this. If you said C, you made the right choice. First and 10, only on HBO.
As a kid in business, I learned the meaning of a buck 1 penny at a time. Hey, it was my money, and it still is. So when I need wheels on business today, I go to Thrifty. At Thrifty Car Rental on Chrysler 5th Avenue, safety equipped with an airbag is just $39.95 a day. Who says you can't mix business with pleasure? It's the only way to go.
Thrifty, because it's your money.
Let's hang it right at the tower, DJ.
DHL was making express deliveries overseas before Federal Express was even in business. With a head start like that, we can simply do things others can't. DHL, faster to more of the world.
My son Jeff, skateboard fanatic, music lover, guitarist, computer whiz, avid cyclist, football, basketball, hockey player, and all-star catcher. But there is one thing he'll drop everything for. Campbell's Chunky Soup. He loves it. Chunky has delicious chunks of vegetables and meat. And best of all, it's quick to satisfy. So Jeff can keep going without slowing down.
Campbell's Chunky Soup. The satisfying stop that keeps you going.
Gainesville, Florida. Florida Field. It is called Ben Hill Griffith Stadium. And to kick it off, as Auburn won the toss, this is Chris Dickinson. He's a senior from Birmingham, but they have deferred to the second half. Number 84, Harrison Houston, a freshman from Pensacola. And joining him to his right is Monty Duncan. He's a redshirt freshman from St. Augustine, Florida. The last 8 times that the Florida Gators have played host to the Auburn Tigers, they have won 7 of the 8. We're underway. Duncan from the 5. Duncan all the way back to the 32-yard line. Now the starter, Shane Matthews out of Pascagoula, Mississippi, at quarterback. Behind him, Dexter McNabb and Willie McClendon will start in front of Rhett this evening. The wide receivers, they're both very good. Terrence Barber and Ernie Mills. The tight end, here's the feature of the offense, Kirkpatrick. Look for him to catch a bunch. Cal Dixon is the center. He'll be flanked by Ismail and Chris Bromley. And the tackles, Mark White and Tony Roel. Matthews set screen in the first play. Ball is tipped and Matthews makes the reception. And that is to the 20-yard line. Gary.
One of the things that happened there, Ron, is he'd been better off letting that baby drop.
Walter Tate is the nose guard. The defensive tackles, David Rocker and Fernando Horn gets the start tonight. James Willis and Darrell Crawford, the inside backers. Ricky Sutton and Larry Young, who Gary talked about a moment ago on the outside. In the secondary at the corners, it's Ramsey and Barlow. In the safeties, John Wiley and Frank Stankunas. Second and a mile. Throws it to his tight end on the delay. Kirkpatrick takes it across the 26 to the 27. And now the Florida Gators will be looking at a third down situation at about 15.
Kirkpatrick, the tight end, is their leading receiver in this Florida offense. He's going to try to help block all night, but look at the little check down. Steve Spurrier setting up the fact that even though he's going to help block, he's also a potential receiver. So a good job by Spurrier getting it into the game plan early.
Third down, they need the 41. Rips it out to Terrence Barber. He will have a couple, maybe 3 to the 30-yard line, and it will be punting time for Florida. Mike Pena is there to make the hit. So a very impressive defensive start for the Auburn Tigers, and Shane Wasden will be looking at a punt from this young man right here, Arden Chajewski. Arden averaging just shy of 35 yards a kick. Took over the punting chores in the early part of the season. Also does the place kicking for the Gators. Not real long, but a good coverage kick as Wasden runs away from it. Now takes a big Auburn bounce, and that will be knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Let's look at the starters for Auburn on offense. The redshirt freshman Stan White out of Birmingham at quarterback, and behind him the two veteran boombacks, we call them, James Joseph and Stacy Danley. The wideouts, Greg Taylor and Shane Wasden. The tight end is Victor Hall. At center, and this is a fine offensive line, Bob Meeks at center. The guards, Ed King, the All-American, and Tim Tillman. And the tackles, Wayne Gandy and Rob Selby. Fumbles the snap from center. Joseph picks it up as a flag comes down. And he is tackled at the 50-yard line, and what could have been disaster is a pickup of 2. Now let's check the marker.
Stopped by Spear. Flag.
Face masking is called against Florida.
See right here, it's right off. It pays off. They start Joseph. One of the reasons Pat Dye said he wanted to go to the 2 C's.
Well, he picked it up and at least had the presence of mind to take it for a couple of yard gain and then add on, and it's incidental as far as the face mask. It is not the major, but the 5-yard penalty will push it to the 45-yard line. So it will now be a first down and 3 yards to go. Linebacker stunning up, and Danley hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll have a gain of 1. Here are the starters for the Gators defensively. Culpepper and Brandon, the defensive tackles. At the defensive ends, Huey Richardson, the All-American, and Mark Murray. The linebackers on the inside, Tim Hawk and Jerry Odom. On the outside, Fee Bartley and Godfrey Miles. He's the Gator back, is Miles. And the corners, Richard Fain and Del Spear. And the one safety, Will White, since they run for the 4-4-3. Second and 2. The pitch to Danley. Turns the corner as he hurdles the man. It is down to the 39. And that is enough for the Auburn first down +4. Culpepper defensively.
We talked to Pat Dye about what the game plan would be for Auburn. Even though Florida runs a 4-4 defense, he believes versus this even front, they can effectively run the ball. He thinks that they can get the running game going, ease up a little bit of pressure on Stan White, and make the game plan start that way.
Darrell Williams, the 5'9", 198-pound sophomore out of Pritchard, checks into the Tiger lineup at tailback. Flags go down. He was moving forward, and the draw play, Culpepper is just right there to devour him. But that movement came when the player in motion turned back toward the line of scrimmage.
They're going to try to get one of their motion men in the face of Godfrey Miles and Fee Bartley, the 2 rover backs. He turned up a little bit early, and that caused all the problems.
Steve Spurrier, the last time that we were down here televising, that was the LSU game, and we mentioned the fact that always the characteristic sign of him is that golf hat that he wears, actually a visor, but he doesn't wear it at night, and again is not attired in one. Stacy Danley comes back into the lineup, joining James Joseph. Safety blitz. Straight ahead, Danley breaks it for 4, now 5. Mike Brandon, the junior from Perry, Florida, tripped him up, and when he went by the safety like that, I'm sure the defensive coaches had a bit of short breath.
Defensive coordinator Jim Bates says he's going to try to give them some different looks. They're going to blitz. They're going to bring everybody tonight, try to cause some confusions, but he ran right by it. They were in the right defense. They just didn't make the tackle.
Herbert Casey comes in at wide receiver. Dale Overton also in the lineup. Is Danley the lone setback? White sets the screen, throws it complete inside the 35, and Danley will not have it. And again, it's Culpepper. His number 50 has been all over the field on this opening series. So it will be 4th down, and the punter, Richie Nell, comes on the field. Now, whether Florida will come after him or not, I don't know. But this year, Auburn punters cumulatively have had 3 kicks blocked. Florida has blocked 4 on the season. And this time, light pressure because of field position. Into the end zone for a touchback. It's a kick of 32 yards. We'll take a timeout.
New West, the new skin scent for him by Aramis.
Introducing the new Dodge Shadow America and Plymouth Sundance America. The perfect cars for an imperfect world. To help protect you in an accident, they have driver's airbags. To protect you in an oil shortage, they have excellent gas mileage. And to protect you in a tight economy, they're the lowest priced American cars. Sundance America. Shadow America, making the world a little less imperfect.
You can spot someone who saved money with a second-rate antifreeze a mile away. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Prestone. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation. But I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training, up to 12 months in advance, through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
ESPN's College Football Saturday, Auburn at Florida, is brought to you by Sterling Motor Cars. See your Sterling dealer about 0% APR financing or leasing with no charge, maintenance included. And by Michelob Dry Beer. Once you experience the bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back. As we wind up on Richard Fain's jersey, you looked at the seniors' jerseys as they were panned across in the locker room. And tonight, as we mentioned off the top of the telecast, a special night for them. This is their last home game here at Gainesville. Draw play to McClendon. Fights it out over the 25 to the 26. That's Dennis Wallace, the senior from Carrollton, Georgia, from his strong safety, coming up to make the stop. But it's a gain, very close to 7 on the play.
Both teams still just feeling each other out, sticking with their game plans. Florida does not want to make any mistakes early, play a little field position. Auburn would like to make things happen in front of them. They don't believe Florida could drive up and down the field on them.
Wallace, who just made the stop, 2 interceptions to lead his team this year. Auburn with a total of 6. McClendon again. You could see the pulling guard Ismail, but in behind he gets cut down by David Rocker. And one of the comments that Steve Spurrier made earlier this week is if we can't block Rocker, we don't have a chance to win the football game.
Well, they have to control him. You're never going to control David Rocker and block him completely every play, but they got to keep the big plays away from David Rocker. There you look at him, 6'4", 264. He causes a lot of havoc. He's rotating in and out of the game. He will be fresh all night.
3rd down. Gators need about 2.5. On 3rd and short, he's going to throw, flushed out of the pocket, and he is sacked by Ricky Sutton. One of the outside backers that Gary talked about off the top of the telecast, and it's a loss of 6.
Steve Spurrier has said Shane Matthews needs to throw to his underneath guys. Remember, this is 3rd and very short. He's got the tight end. He's got a back in front of him. He really doesn't have the ability to scramble out and pick up these first downs. The Auburn defensive line is too quick for him.
Arden Krzyzewski, his first punt, 24 yards. Kicking into a fairly stiff breeze here at Florida Field. Wasd in the deep man. This is end over end and a line drive. Very returnable. Gets one block, gets another, turns the corner, and will be ridden out of bounds at the 49-yard line. 37 yards in the kick and 12 on the return.
There are those who thirst for something different. Something beyond the ordinary. For them, there is a beer that refreshes like no other. Michelob Dry. Once you've experienced its bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
Look into the sleek design of the Sterling 827 SLI, luxuriously appointed with handcrafted wood, rich in supple Connolly leather. And right now, a Sterling 827 SLI is a most prudent investment. British performance and athletic handling with the finest, most affordable financing starting at 0%. Or lease a Sterling SLI with maintenance included at no charge. No matter how you look at it, it's time to see what it's like to drive a Sterling SLI.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth.
We love to fly and be true.
Just about at the midway point of this opening quarter, and it just as we had figured, opening with a defensive struggle. A report from the sideline, Huey Richardson injured his back. Darren Mickle, the sophomore from Miami, is coming replacing him. We'll get a report momentarily. White out of the backfield, juggling the ball, and inside the 40-yard line, James Joseph Godfrey Miles makes the tackle at the 35. Let's go down to Kevin Kiley for an update on Huey Richardson.
Ron, thank you. Key player in that great Florida defense. Defensive end, Huey Richardson, an All-American. He's been hit in the back. They're icing down his back. They do expect him back in the ball game, but as yet he is not back in there. Back upstairs to you, Ron.
Kevin, he had problems earlier this week with what they called problems with his upper back, and obviously a reoccurrence. Danley this time hammers his way at left guard. Jerry Odom steps up into the hole to make the hit, the senior from Merritt Island, Florida.
One of the reasons James Joseph is playing is because of his blocking ability. Watch the counter gap play. Joseph is going to fill on Mark Murray, the tight, the defensive end, and that's what you're going to see all night. The two senior backs blocking for each other. Auburn trying to run the ball.
Also, I saw big number 70, Bob Meeks, the junior center out of Evergreen, throw a paving way block on that run. Danley to the 30. Godfrey Miles, the Gatorback, steps up to make the hit, and now the situation, Auburn. Third down, they need 3.
It's third in a situation that Stan White, though, can still dial the run or the pass. He can throw short. In the past game, Stan has had only a few options in third and long passes. He's been throwing the ball downfield a little bit too much. Now he can throw it to anybody to pick up this first down. Should help his passing percentage tonight.
Victor Hall comes in at tight end. Auburn needs the 27. Blitz up the middle is incomplete at the 18-yard line, and it was Greg Taylor, the intended receiver.
Florida's blitzing 8 people this time. This is good protection for an 8-man blitz. Stan White just does not do a good job of getting the ball. He had an open man, underthrew the pass. Could have been a first down.
This is going to be an attempt of 47 yards for Von Weil. His longest on the year is 48, and he is kicking with an 80 win. That's Dickinson to hold. Has the distance, and he is to the left and no good. So it is Florida who dodges the first bullet of the night. And they will take it over with good field position at their own 30.
It's just too early for Von Weil here. He can only make them in the last couple seconds of the game. That's when he's money all the time. This one just a little bit of a hook. And I'll tell you, you can see it went behind the crossbar right there, the goal post, and it did not make it. Good call. Just kept hooking and hooking.
As Mills open at the 45, and he is out of bounds at the Auburn 37. John Wiley defensively. That's good for 34.
Shane Matthews right here. When he has time to throw, he's got a great touch. He doesn't make a lot of bad decisions. Look, he feels confident. He's got Mills wide open. A corner route. Mills runs this route very well. They held the up coverage, and he put it right on stride.
Rush, and he is going to be tackled. That's Lamar Rogers. Didn't know how much we'd see him tonight because of injuries that he has been fighting off the last 3 weeks. But the senior from Alabama is up to the task, and it's a loss of 6. Second sack of the night.
Little play action pass. You got to get these linemen to take as much as you can. A little bit of an arm under right there. Tony Rowell is trying to, they're not going to call holding on that play. That's an underarm lock, and they're just going to allow that every time. Good job by Rowell.
Matthews sets and throws. This one flies on him right into the arms of Mills again. It is good for the first down, plus 10.
Corey Barlow's going to have the coverage right here. Little play action pass again. And watch the adjustment to the ball on this. Mills runs and he adjusts upfield. Very tough catch. And Barlow's got the coverage, but he did not. He had to beat just enough, and he threw the ball to the sideline.
Fernando Horn, you saw number 77 with his hand in Matthews' face, but he got it away at the completion. First down at the Auburn 17. McClendon almost fumbled the ball for a moment, spins off a big hit. James Willis, who's a freshman from Huntsville, is the man who put the headgear on him. Let's take a look at the SEC standings. Auburn 3-0-1, followed by Ole Miss and Florida, and of course the Gators ineligible for the SEC championship. The Tennessee at 3-1-1. And Ole Miss with a big game tonight down in the Bayou country. That's always a tough one for the Rebels when they travel to Baton Rouge. And in fact, Mr. Brando will be bringing us up to date on that ball game between LSU and Ole Miss and other action this evening. Matthews zips it to Terrence Barber. Complete, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 9.
You can see the game plan by Steve Spurrier. A little shorter drops, a little play action to keep that rush under control. He believes he can throw the ball on any defense. It doesn't matter as long as he has time. Matthews 6 for 6, 57 yards. Not a bad start. That'll get your confidence going.
Pretty doggone hot for the sophomore from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Third down Gators. They need the 6.5-yard line. Just got it. Marker goes down. The free play as McClendon turns the corner, steps out of bounds at the 4. Corey Barlow was there to hit him, but I believe that either contact was made or that Auburn had come across the neutral zone. Well, Pat Dye told us yesterday, as Gary mentioned in the opening, he may be as uncertain about this football team or exactly what kind of Tiger team he has, because he sincerely thinks if he could get a consistent 60 out of them, it'd be an awfully good football team.
It's hard to believe.
Errors like this have been plaguing him.
Hard to believe a coach of a top 5 team in the country is confused about his football team, but that's the standard that's been set at Auburn. They believe they had a team to win the national championship, and he's a little confused why they're not playing to the level he expects.
17 scores, 17 possessions. from this field range. McNabb close to the goal line. They will stop him at the 1. It'll be second down and goal, Florida. Darrell Crawford and James Willis, the 2 inside backers, down in the bottom of the pile. Fernando Horn comes checking into the ball game at the last moment, replacing Lamar Rogers. McNabb hit at the line of scrimmage, but he scores.
Watch Ricky Sutton, number 92, is going to come around the short corner and put the hit on him, but he just extra efforts it, dives across the line, and it's 6-0 going for the extra point.
Arden Krzyzewski is 27 of 28 this year on extra points. So who strikes first? It is the Gators of Florida. We'll be right back.
You can teach your kids the fun of football, from the right techniques to the right attitude, with the help of a great coach and ESPN Home Video. Former Michigan football coach Bo Schembechler teaches safe and fun basics of football, from offense to defense and practice drill. To order Teaching Kids Football for just $29.95, call 1-800-841-8900.
Family, they're my most important priority. So I had my attorney set up a trust, and I manage my trust investments myself at Schwab. Low commissions, no annual fee. Now, if something happens to me, my family is taken care of the way I've arranged. Haven't lost my touch. Neither has she.
We give you more ways to succeed.
ESPN brings you coast-to-coast NCAA basketball. The action's outstanding. Everywhere you look, there's down-to-the-wire excitement.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Awesome, baby! Sensational! Super!
A new season tips off when top teams battle in the Dodge NIT. Tournament action begins Wednesday, November 14th at 7:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Florida scores first, 7-0. Let's go to Kevin Kiley down on the sideline. Kevin.
Rod, in 1976, Wes Chandler scored a touchdown in this end zone for Florida. He was a receiver, and the War Eagle bit him. It didn't happen this time. Back to you.
Well, right now, Herbert Casey is playing the part of the War Eagle as he tries to bite Florida, and he does for a 42-yard return as he takes it all the way back to the Florida 44-yard line.
One more look. Number 92's coming off the corner. His only job is to get some penetration, but McNabb, extra effort. He keeps moving forward the whole time, gets into the end zone. Great running there.
8 plays, 70 yards, 225 they use. McNabb on the 1-yard run. But the Auburn Tigers right back with excellent field position. And Huey Richardson has just come back out on the field. Number 90. Reverse and hit in the backfield by Fee Bartley for a huge loss at the 44-yard line. And there was a flag back at the line of scrimmage. That's a loss of 14 if the play stands.
Holding, offense, penalty flag.
Fee Bartley, one of the outside linebacker to the weak side of the formation. Right here, he's blitzing. If it isn't Fee Bartley, watch him get his depth. Huey Richardson's going to make the tackle also. Good defense. Tonight, the game plan, penetrate, make something happen in the backfield for the Tigers.
White to throw, gets it away, and he has Casey wide open, and he will score. 56 yards.
gives this 6 points to Herbert Casey. He also set it up, remember, with the great kickoff. Stan's coming back. He's looking over there. Busted coverage right here. Look at him hesitate. Just throws it. He's got a guy wide open. Casey can turn around, catch this ball. Del Spear, for some reason, came up. Del Spear playing for Jimmy Spencer, new this week. I played a little bit against Akron, but Casey with the big touchdown comeback for Auburn.
Von Weil ties it at 7 with 2:29 left in this opening quarter. If Jimmy Spencer, who's the track star, very speedy, but had some problems there, so Florida decided to make a change.
Del Spear was such long yardage right then. He thought the ball was going to the underneath receiver. He committed too soon. Casey was by him. Great job of looking, great protection. Stan White stayed with the pattern, read it properly, and put the ball on the money. Didn't have to throw the ball 65 yards, just put it to him quick because he was wide open.
Florida had very good pressure on him as well, Gary. As you could see the hands up, particularly 54 Mark Murray. He waited for him to come down and then had presence of mind to wait and then get it away.
He really was calm in the pocket, and Stan, they believe so much in this kid. He's been confused in the past with coverages. They kept him off balance, but he can really play football. There you see him working with Pat Sullivan, his Heisman Trophy coach, quarterback coach. And Stan could listen to that guy and go a long way.
So let's see what happens with Old Mo, as momentum was riding the blue jerseys with the orange headgears there after the 14-yard loss on the reverse, and Auburn comes right back, and this crowd all of a sudden is semi-quiet. It will come down to Monty Duncan from the 1. Duncan takes it back out across the 24 to the 25-yard line, where Alex Thomas is there on special teams. Shane Matthews, 6'2", 184 pounds, only a sophomore, had just guided his team to a touchdown. And then in less than 30 seconds, Auburn puts it right back in their end zone. Short drop this time. Nails Terrence Barber. Found the seam and it has it complete for the first down at the 37. Stan Kunis is there defensively.
Shane Matthews getting time to throw again. No pressure. And with this pass offense, the number of options he has, it's like 7 on 7. You know, take the lineman out of it. Any quarterback can put those yards up. He's going to throw if he's not pressured tonight.
Draw play to McClendon. Breaks off the 1 tackle as he turns the corner, and he will have another Florida first down. Larry Young and Darryl Crawford combined to the stop, and it's a gain of 13.
A little bit of a draw play. Remember, the idea is to keep the Auburn pass rush off balance. McClendon getting the start tonight, reads the hole to the outside. Now watch downfield, both wide receivers. There you see number 1, Terrence Barber. He's in the face. Listen, you don't have to knock anyone down as a wide receiver. Just get in his face and push.
It complete, ball is fumbled, and Auburn has recovered at the 28-yard line. Stan Kunis. I beg your pardon, Cunningham, number 47.
Well, this is a well-thrown ball, properly read, properly thrown. The back is going down the middle of the field against the deep double zone. They free him up. Perfect throw. Big hit, though. That's what you have to do when you're playing a passing team. Lay the hits on the guys after they do it. Number 29, Stan Kunis, got the credit for causing that fumble. And that's what Auburn has to do. They have not had the turnovers this year. They're even turnovers for the year.
White avoids the pressure, and he throws that one close to Pat Hyde. It was Mike Brandon, number 97, who was right on his heels. White just threw it away. So Florida, the amazing thing, it had back-to-back-to-back first downs and then the fumble.
Well, that's so tough. You know, you do everything correctly. Here's Stan White again. He is really quick, 4.6 speed, and he avoids the rush, tosses one up. Let's tee it up again. It's 2nd and 10. You still got 2 downs to pick up the first down.
Williams hit by Huey Richardson and also Jerry Odom. And it will be 3rd down Auburn, and they will be looking at about 12 yards to pick up the first down. Depends on where they spot it here.
I think you'll see some type of conservative call here right now, Ron. They're not going to let this game get out of hand early. There's nothing wrong with punting the ball. He's going to throw short. He's going to run a draw or a screen. He's not going to risk the interception.
Full wide receivers in the ball game for Auburn. White over the middle. It is intercepted by Grohl. And he is back to the 26.
Well, this is what happens when you play with fire like this. Anything can happen when you're throwing the ball over the middle. He's trying to get Herbert Casey down the middle. Throws it a little high. Interception. All of a sudden the field is turned upside down on a pass that was read properly, thrown a little high.
13 interceptions for Florida this year. That's the first for Grohl.
As you can see, no backs in the backfield. They're all over the field.
Matthews rolls the pocket. He's going to hold on to it and steps out of bounds, and wisely so, because James Willis was about to become a part of his parade. He'll miss the first down, but it's a gain of about 7 yards.
So far, the plays that Steve has been calling is to try to keep that Auburn defense off balance a little bit. And he's been successful. The pass rush has not been a factor. And if he can have time to throw, as we said before, he can have stats like 8 for 8 for 94 yards, which he is so far.
McClendon, big head of steam, and he is inside the 10. It is 1st and goal, Florida. Walter Tate is at the bottom of the pile.
Strict isolation play. Every high school has this play. The fullback leads. Dexter McNabb puts his hand on a linebacker. And what Willie McClendon tries to do is cut back. That first hole he sees to the back, he's going to cut back and slash up in there. Willie McClendon, a little bit bigger. Eric Rett, 215 pounds. McClendon, 223. Sullivan went with McClendon.
This time is going to be wrapped up. It's Lamar Rogers, who is back in the ballgame, the senior from Up. And with that, they are standing here at Florida Field. That is the end of the first period, and we're tied.
Before they could walk, they wanted to dance. Before they could talk, they wanted to sing. But they needed a lot of heart and desire before they could get to Broadway and make it on a chorus line. Now this Broadway legend is back and on tour. But if you want tickets, get to the box office early and get out your Visa card. Because this show won't be in town long, and it won't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
When you're out street hiking, you better know how to read the terrain. First, trust your instincts. By all means, avoid distractions. Do your best to preserve the wildlife, because street hikers don't just walk, they hike. Fresh shoes, Joe.
Look into a Sterling motor car, luxuriously appointed with handcrafted wood, rich in supple Connolly leather. And right now, a Sterling is a most prudent investment. Decidedly British luxury and performance with the finest, most affordable financing, starting at 0%. Or lease a Sterling with maintenance included at no charge. No matter how you look at it, it's time to see what it's like to drive a Sterling.
Jerry comes in every Saturday. Last week he wants copper pipe and solder. Now I know Jerry, so I say don't forget to shine the joints before you flux. And he says flux, so I told him to call me if he hit a snag. I think he called 11 times.
Good service is why people choose a place like Evers Hardware Store, and why places like Evers Hardware choose USF&G Insurance and their independent agents.
USF&G is standing behind me.
Well, the first quarter numbers, the Auburn Tigers 79 yards, the Florida Gators 133. We are tied at 7, and the situation is a second down and goal Florida as they have it at the Auburn 8. And you see Matthews asking his faithful to get quiet just a moment. Straight ahead with McNabb. He's going to be double, now triple teamed. Shea and Walter Tate combined on him, and now a third down situation for Florida.
Looked like an audible that time. He saw weakness in the defense. Obviously, it might have been there, but the blocking wasn't. Tate and Shea just beat their men, and now he's got a situation where, you know, he's got to throw for the end zone if he wants to get the points on the board.
Kirkpatrick has been one of his favorite receivers in this kind of situation. Third and goal, quarterback draw. Matthews will take it to the 1-foot line. David Rocker saves the touchdown. If you're Steve Spurrier, what do you do here?
I think they're going to go for it. I don't think there's any doubt. No backs in the backfield. This is a quarterback draw on the goal line. He bumps into his center Dixon, but he has enough presence to almost get in the goal line and set up the possibility of going for it on fourth down.
Number 5, McClendon, has checked into the backfield along with 21, Dexter McNabb, and the crowd will tell you if they get it or not. I don't think they have enough men in the field.
That's right.
Kirkpatrick, the senior tight end, turned around hollering at his quarterback and said, let's get one more. Auburn is tough enough with 11 guys. So Florida has to burn a timeout. We'll be right back.
(1966), Volvo introduces the 140. 1975, Volvo introduces the 240. 1983, Volvo introduces the 760. Now, in 1990, Volvo introduces the 940, a Volvo so elegant and richly appointed, you don't have to crash it to appreciate its beauty.
So, who's the computer for? For my daughter. College.
There are moments when Gold MasterCard makes a difference.
Can I, Oh, no, I got this one.
That's my dad.
With more buying power and the best buyer protection.
My skateboard.
Master Purchase covers you for 90 days against loss, theft, or breakage.
Dad?
If anything happens, one phone call will replace it.
Maybe I should carry this one, Dad.
Gold MasterCard, the best gold card to master the moment.
Some people think it's a great idea for you to buy a second-rate antifreeze. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Presto. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
Better get your Air Jordan Flight Club calendar from Wheaties.
Green on the box, Jocks. Just get it.
Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Kevin Kiley. Florida Field in Gainesville. And there's the situation. Just under 14 to play until halftime. We're tied at 7, and the Florida Gators about a foot away. It is fourth down. McClendon. McClendon for the touchdown. That's now 47 yards rushing in the early going by the Florida Gators. Arden Krzyzewski sends it right down Broadway.
Put yourself in Steve Spurrier's spot. 4th and inches. Last time to score, you went off tackle. This time you pitch it, you bounce it outside. Brownlee comes around, and he just bounce it and walk into the end. It's a good read by McClendon on that play.
Eric Rett is the man who has been starting in that position. McClendon was named as the starter this evening and played a great deal in the last ball game against Akron, and he has just scored his 4th touchdown of the year. Jim Bates right there in the middle talking with Steve Spurrier, and of course he is the defensive coordinator for the Florida Gators.
Florida's done a nice job defensing Auburn so far, except for the mess up. That long play was just a busted coverage, a mistake in the secondary, and it costed them 7.
Are you surprised that Florida has moved on this very good Auburn defense this well early?
Not really. If they don't get pressure in the face of Shane Matthews, Steve Spurrier's offense will work against any defense. There's not a defense that will stand up to a pass offense. It's like a BYU pass offense or a Houston pass offense. They've got to get pressure in Matthews. He's not good at evading the pocket. They must start blitzing in place of man coverage.
Ryan Rulin, who wears number 19, will handle the kickoff rather than Krzyzewski for the Florida Gators. And this one will come down to Pedro Cherry, and Herbert Casey said, nope, go down on one knee. (14-7) with 13:35 left until halftime. Coming up at halftime, we'll be going to Tim Brando, who will update us on not only the games going on this evening, but in case you have missed what has happened today, and a great deal has happened. Number 1 has fallen, and also the Nebraska Cornhuskers have fallen. Both of those teams losing at home. White runs into his running back, Darrell Williams, who had just come into the lineup, number 45. Tony Richardson had checked in at fullback, and Williams obviously, well, somebody went the wrong way. I shouldn't pin it on him.
On a 3-step drop, the tailback, Darrell Williams, is from the I-back position. He's coming a long way, and his angle was too shallow. He has to get out of the way of the quarterback in that case. A 3-step drop, the tailback's 8 yards deep. He must get out of the way of the quarterback.
Second down, Auburn. They need 14. This is Williams. Tries to turn the corner, and he does, but only for a couple as Mike Brandon is there defensively.
You know, we talked to Larry Blakely, the offensive head, one of the calling the plays for offense. They do it by committee in reality. We liked Williams. We said, how come he's not playing more? He said the problem isn't when he has the football, it's when he doesn't. And there you saw the case on first down. He bumps into somebody, and now they're in a bad situation.
You also looked at Greg Taylor, the senior from Opelika, which is just outside of Auburn, coming in at wide receiver. Third down for the Tigers. They need 12. White has a man wide open, and it's Taylor, who we were just talking about, and they call it incomplete at the 44. Oh my goodness, he had him open, and again on the left side of the Florida secondary, the coverage had been beaten.
This time, it was 2 free safeties in the middle. The front corner, Spear just jams and lets him go. What happens? The ball is thrown obviously too wide, and let's see. Yep, his foot comes on the line. He's out of bounds. Big play. Stan White did a great job of looking off the secondary. The safeties moving into the middle, and then he had problems.
This has been a part of Florida's special teams that has been outstanding. That is the blocking of punts, and he gets it away. That is a nice job. Terrence Barber, and of course with the punt block on, he is covered in white. As Auburn, very good on special teams themselves, is right there to stop him after a gain of only 3. So the storyline of this one so far, Matthews, the Florida quarterback, 8 of 8, 94 yards. Von Weil missed the 47-yarder. Average yards on first down, Auburn, 0.3. That is hard to believe. In Florida, 8.4. Casey, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. You talk about a community who is extremely fired up about this ball game. On Thursday, Gary and I were at the workout. And it was a plane circling the field, pulling a banner saying, "Beat Auburn." That is complete to Terrence Barber at the 38-yard line. And let's go to Tim Brando for an update. Timmy.
Ron, in a game that means a great deal to the one you're watching, Ole Miss's Tom Luke to Derek Owens for 22 yards, sets up a 1-yard run by Randy Baldwin. It is 12-0 Ole Miss. They missed the first extra point, tried for 2 and failed on the second. If Florida beats Auburn, Ole Miss has its sights set on the sugar.
Okay, Timmy. There's a long time left out at Baton Rouge, as there is here in Gainesville. Matthews comes out from under, and obviously with an audible, has time of the 25 seconds. Sets it, gonna go long, and he's got Mills open, just overthrows him at the 9. John Wiley was covering, but he was looking at him from 2 yards behind.
Nice read by Matthews there. He read the blitz. He was right. It was man-to-man coverage. Threw a good ball. Threw it just a little bit long. Hey, that's 9 for 10.
That's his first incompletion.
And that's the one that changes the scoreboard. You got to take some of those chances. You can't throw short all night. Nice read by Matthews on time.
Trey Everett comes into the lineup for Florida, a youngster who battled injuries early in the season. He's only a sophomore. He's from Washington and possesses some great speed for the outside. Matthews still running, and he is going to be sacked by Rocker. Boy, what an effort. As he saw Rocker coming, and then it was like he was moving in slow motion.
Well, those athletes on the Auburn defensive line are just a little bit too much for Shane. He needs to get rid of it. But you know what, Ron? There was nobody really to get rid of the ball to. Good coverage in the secondary. Watch Red here take on the linebacker there. Good. He gives him a chance, but there's nobody to throw to, and Rocker just going to chase him down and get the big sack. Pressure is number one, but they got to have some coverage to allow the defensive line time to get the sacks.
Third sack of this first half of the Auburn Tigers for a minus 19. Going to have to hurry the 25-second clock down to 1. Got it away. Now he is going to scramble. Dumps it off. Terrence Barber was standing out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down. And Florida, who had a great situation after going on top 14-7, and the defense of Auburn steps up and bites them big. Arden Krzyzewski will come in to punt. 2 times tonight for an average of just over 30 per kick. And you look at Wasden, who is the deep man. Shane, a junior out of Selma, Alabama. Auburn coming after Krzyzewski, gets knocked down, but a little acting job there, and that is going to go into the end zone. Arden is still down back at the 43, looking to see if they're bringing his award, or is he hurt? That's Eric Ramsey who ran into it. So Auburn will take it over at the 20.
Number 27, Eric Ramsey's going to come off the corner right here. It's a double block. He gets it. He runs across. Does he get him? He catches him with the knee.
11:05 left until halftime. Gators by 7.
There are those who thirst for something different, something beyond the ordinary. For them, there is a beer that refreshes like no other. Michelob Dry. Once you've experienced its bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
1966, Volvo introduces the 140. 1975, Volvo introduces the 240. 1983, Volvo introduces the 760. Now in 1990, Volvo introduces the 940. A Volvo so elegant and richly appointed, you don't have to crash it to appreciate its beauty.
Getting through college can be a pretty tough climb. To succeed, you need money, and you need the right abilities. You can find them both in the Army. If you qualify, you could earn more than $25,000 with the Montgomery GI Bill and the Army College Fund. And you could develop the confidence, judgment, and self-discipline it takes to make it to the top, in college and beyond.
ESPN's College Football Saturday, Auburn at Florida, is brought to you by Volvo, the car that's famous for its safety, durability, and longevity. And by the First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze. 11:05 left until halftime, and Auburn takes it over after a very good defensive stand. Florida had taken over good field position, and then they just closed the door. Quick inside give, and that's going to be Mark Murray stepping up and hitting James Joseph, the senior from Phoenix City. And he will have a gain of 1 out to around the 21-yard line. Gary, so far the run on first down has not been a real productive thing for him.
The one time they tried a short pass, they bumped into the tailback, and they got nothing out of that also. But first down has been a big problem for Auburn so far tonight.
Splits, or rather Florida. They back off of it. White looks off the receiver over the middle. Jerry Odom with the interception. And Odom will be tackled at the 29. The second interception thrown by White in the first half.
This time White checks to a blitz, audible to the right side. No one's open. Then he tries to make something happen on a bad play. He tries to throw the ball down the middle, doesn't get enough out of it, right to Jerry Odom. Brad Culpepper, number 50, kind of got a hand on Stan White as he threw the ball, so give a little bit of a credit to Culpepper, but Jerry Odom, who had the bad knee when we saw him go out of the game against Tennessee, is back and gets the interception.
McClendon straight ahead, maybe a couple. That's Fernando Horn, number 77, along with Walter Tate defensively. Some of the players having to be separated by the officials down there as conversations, but nothing really serious.
Shane Matthews feels real comfortable right now. When you're riding a 9-for-10 wave, you feel like you can pick and pick and pick and do anything. He feels he can move the ball in the air. The running game is just positive after that. Anything after that is just a plus.
Auburn coming with the blitz. Matthews wanted Kirkpatrick. Now looks, delivers, and Mills has it complete at the 15-yard line. Pat Dye went down to take a closer look to see if he had come down in bounds.
Here's the blitz right up the gap. And good job by number 21, Dexter McNabb, picking up the blitz. It bought time for Matthews to scramble out and make something out of nothing right there again. Mills, 3 catches now for 70 yards. And Mills did a great job of finding an opening and giving some place for Matthews to throw the ball on the sideline right there.
Mills, another of the seniors. He is out of Denellen. This time runs up into the pocket, drills it to McClendon. You could see him put his head down immediately. He knew he was going to get hit. Willis was there, also Darrell Crawford, to put him down for a short gain.
One of the trademarks in a good pass offense is being able to use your backs. That's what Spurrier wants Matthews to do, use his backs. McClendon is the 3rd leading receiver on the team, but he'd like to set up a pressure point with him.
You know, the other point that Steve Spurrier made yesterday was not only did he want to throw to his backs more, but he said, don't be surprised when the wide receivers get more action this week.
He felt he could suck them up by throwing short early, and there'd be some holes in behind him.
Matthews is 11 of 13. Draw play to McNabb, gets a paving block from McClendon. It is 1st and goal, Florida.
Really is pretty when you're able to throw short and keep everybody off balance. The Auburn defense just really doesn't know where to swing at. It's a draw, it's a screen, it's a pass. This time number 5, Willie McClendon, gets in there and causes a little bit of blocking, and then McNabb runs up and gets the positive yards. Those are big yards then into the zone right there.
Because of balance and second effort, he picked up that first down. Florida from just inside the 5. Belted by Rocker at the line of scrimmage. He will fight forward for maybe a yard as Tate comes over the top. Well, Rocker was right there. You could see his head go back as he put the headgear on him. They got to spot it down just inside the 4-yard line. It will be second down Gators. They lead it 14-7 as we're about to go under 8 minutes to play until halftime. McClendon now 10 carries, 43 yards, and he has a touchdown. Matthews this time rolls the pocket under pressure, and he's going to be sacked the 4th time tonight by Auburn. And it's Reggie Barlow who is there, the junior from Albany, Georgia.
Shane Matthews, second down right here. This is the time when you don't want to get the sack. Get it in there. If your first guy's not open, let's get rid of it. Spurrier's bringing him out of the pocket. That's why he doesn't want the sack. But Barlow comes around and forces Matthews in, and then he's just not quick enough to get away from Barlow. Outside linebackers providing some sacks. That's what they needed tonight.
Third down and goal. Kirkpatrick over the middle, touchdown. A flag is down. There was contact as Kirkpatrick made his move, and from the reaction of one of the offensive linemen, it may be offensive pass interference. It is. I'll be anxious to see the replay because I happened to watch Kirkpatrick all the way. There was contact, no doubt about it.
Too deep zone. The free safeties are playing on the hashes. The proper read is go to the middle.
Pass interference. Offense. Lost it on.
Matthews throws a strike to Kirkpatrick, and they call Kirk for pushing off on Alex Thomas, number 24. You can see how upset he is. We've got him isolated. He comes inside. He gives him a little head move. Oh, there's nowhere to go right there. How was that offensive interference right there? Good job by defense, good job by offense. Could have been a no call in that situation.
Swim move, but the offensive pass interference is called, and Krzyzewski trying to get his 10th field goal of the year. This will be a 42-yard attempt. Has the distance, and he's good.
Well, Ron, I don't think there's any doubt that the Tigers got away with one right there. That was not offensive pass interference, and now they're only down by 10 points, so a little bit of a break. But Matthews is just so hot with that football tonight. I mean, he's hitting everybody in stride.
17-7. Florida goes on top. NFL Game Day coming up tomorrow, noon Eastern time. That will get you started on what's going to be happening in the National Football League. And then back with Chris Berman and the boys at 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night on NFL Primetime. All tomorrow right here on ESPN. And then on November the 11th, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the world champion San Francisco 49ers are in Dallas, Texas to take on the Cowboys. Right now, the Gator up by 10. Of course, we have seen Pat Dye's ball club down by 10 and by more this year.
Be careful. Auburn's got you right about where he wants you right now.
Cheerleaders hope that Florida doesn't score too much because they have to duplicate in push-ups. Pedro Cherry from the 3. Oh, what a hit as he comes across the 20-yard line. And let's go back to Tim Brando.
On to Death Valley in Baton Rouge, Ron Franklin. Chad Loop with a little chicanery. And Harvey Williams off his back foot. Good arm, Harv. He finds Marcus Carter 43 yards for the strike. Remember those extra points that have been blown by the Rebels. It's 12-7, Mississippi.
Talk about them being blown. Wait till these goalposts come in almost 6 feet next year, Timmy. We may have a lot of extra points that are blown. Manley straight ahead, gets whacked hard by Brad Culpepper. He's a junior from Tallahassee. Culpepper, number 50, and Murray, number 54, on that defensive front. Probably two guys that don't get a lot of attention, but they are extremely consistent.
Culpepper finds a way to get his hand on any ball carrier going through the middle. He's just a real gutsy, rough type player. We've seen him all year make plays in the backfield. Huey Richardson, though, I got to really signify that he's having a great game. His back is bothering him, and he's in there lining up right so far.
Make the pitch. White throws it complete. Victor Hall maintains his balance and is close to the first down. Boy, he got blitzed and still didn't get knocked down and almost had the first down.
Stan White, welcome to the SEC. I know you're just a redshirt freshman, but meet Godfrey Miles. They call him the Gatorback. A naked reverse right here. Oh, man, right in the stomach. He did get it off nice. Right, put it right on the money.
Richard
to Victor Hall, and that was a nice make it.
Fane probably is saying, how hard do I have to hit it? Third and about a foot. I don't know. Tony Richardson knocked down very close to the line of scrimmage, and we'll see from across the way to where the line judge has put his foot down. Tony's the freshman from Daleville. Florida is saying from where it's been spotted that they're not going to have the first down, and they're going to bring the chains in.
Godfrey Miles again came from the outside and got him before he could get started. Oh, big play. Miles, number 98, and Timmy Polk, number 99. The two high school teammates make the play and stop them and force Auburn to punt. Here we go. Here goes again the Auburn punt team and the Florida punt return.
Florida, as we mentioned, has blocked 4 punts this year. In fact, this team that is on the field right now, the punt defend team, or punt block team, has accounted for setting up 35 points. Auburn has worked hard on it this week, and I'll tell you what, it has paid off. Barber all the way back to the 17-yard line, and he's not going to have much until he reverses field. And he may go all the way. Terrence Barber, does he have enough steam?
Think about this now. Florida went for the block, so Barber's down there by himself. He has no blockers until he makes about 5 people miss. When he reverses his field, he gets a couple stragglers to come up and help. There's Spain, number 28, helping. Another cutback, and it's not really steam right here. Alex Thomas catches him, number 24, because he's out of gas.
You know what? Alex Thomas is the man who missed him way back inside the 30-yard line, so he had to do something.
Well, no matter how much he gained there, he went for about a 200-yard jog right that time because he went back and forth across the field twice.
52 yards, 77 yards on the return. Throws it to Kirkpatrick. Out of bounds at the 3.
You just have to sit and marvel at Steve Spurrier's offense tonight. He has kept the Tigers off balance. They really don't know where the next punch is coming from. The throws have been relatively simple, and Matthews has delivered.
Second down and goal. Florida with the football just inside the Auburn 4-yard line. As number 47, Carrigan Cunningham, the sophomore from Peachtree City, Georgia, checks in at one of the inside linebacking spots. Willie McClendon looks for a block, gets it, he scores.
Saluted Matthews all night, but let's salute this offensive line. Kirkpatrick also blocks as well as catches. Right tackle Tony Rowell, right guard Chris Bromley, and McClendon just reads it, pops up in there. Same play they scored last time. This time he takes it up inside Larry Young, the outside linebacker. It's a walk-in again.
Krzyzewski. True again. Let's take a break. 5:07 left until halftime. Gators by 17.
Do you know what open-end mutual funds are?
The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Money and Markets tells you in clear, simple English.
Do you know how to spot trends in stocks?
And what stock options are?
And zero coupon bonds?
And the difference between Treasury bills and Treasury notes?
Everything you want to know about the sometimes baffling world of money and investing is in this remarkable 120-page book. And now it's yours free when you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page Guide to Understanding Money and Markets. That's 13 weeks of the journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, now for only $34. Call toll-free 800-642-7400. Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-642-7400 now.
November 11th on ESPN Sunday Night NFL. The San Francisco 49ers face the Dallas Cowboys. The San Francisco 49ers, the world champions, drive toward their third consecutive title, led by perhaps the most awesome offense ever. The Dallas Cowboys have upset on their mind as they strive to regain the title of America's team. The 49ers face the Cowboys coming November 11th at 8 Eastern, live on ESPN Sunday Night NFL.
Rocker and Tate of that defensive unit of the Auburn Tigers getting a breather. A little happier on the other side of the field because the Florida Gators have scored on 4 of their last 6 drives and now lead at 24-7 over the 5th-ranked Auburn Tigers. Pedro Cherry from the 1. Runs up into the stack and is down at the 25. Let's go back and look at the touchdown again.
We've talked about Kirk Kirkpatrick, the leading receiver on this ball club. Remember, John Wiley has a man-for-man, but Kirkpatrick works hard. He's working his feet, and he pushes Wiley into the end zone to enable the walk-in. Watch number 5, McClendon. He gets a block from his partner, Dexter McNabb, number 21 on Larry Young, the outside linebacker. Last time he went outside, this time he cuts up inside. Same play, same result, different area. That's all.
5:01 left to play until halftime. James Joseph is the lone setback, and Auburn looking for some points before halftime. White under pressure, and he is going to be tackled by Mike Brandon. Let's go back to Tim Brando.
It's been a crazy year in the Pac-10. The California Bears are much improved. Watch Pulowski with the throwback from Russell White. It's a touchdown for the QB as he gets in to make it 24-10. Since then, a 77-yard strike from Marinovich to Johnny Morton. It is 24-17 Cal with just over 4 minutes left in the third quarter run.
Timmy, you know, they took that page from USC's book. Didn't they score on that 2 weeks ago? I think they did. Our situation, Gators 24 and the Tigers 7. Clock is running now with 4 minutes and 20 seconds until halftime. Second down and 10. White, as a marker goes down, has it complete for the first down to Dale Overton. And now let's see what the flag, and now a third flag comes down from well downfield.
When Dale Overton came on the field, Ron, I don't believe he covered the tackle. I think it was an illegal formation when he came in, and then I don't know what the end of it was, some kind of roughing penalty. But I don't know if they had an illegal formation.
Well, it would suggest something of that kind because the 2 flags that came down initially, both at the line of scrimmage, and then the other one is thrown 10 yards downfield.
I don't think they had enough men on the line of scrimmage to begin with.
Six men on line. Offense. Face mask. Defense. Replay it down.
Ron Gilbert, our referee tonight. Yeah, Jim Bates. He going to sleep? I don't think so. That's the call, but I'd love to know what that means.
It's one of the plays right there. There you see Fee Bartley right there grabbing the face mask. He really doesn't have a hold of the face mask. It's more in between. He's got a hold of his eyeball and his nose and everything else.
What Ephesians was saying was fee, fi, fo, fun.
I was ready for that one.
Quick out, and it is complete to Taylor. Pushed back and out of bounds, and let's go down to the sideline of Kevin Kiley.
A big part of the success of this Florida team on the field is the crowd. This is the Auburn bench, and not 8 feet behind them, part of the 74,000 Gator fans stuffed into a 72,000-seat stadium. The Auburn players and the fans been shouting back and forth. Ice has been thrown. They're really working on this Auburn team. Back to you, Ron.
Pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. And it is going to be 4th down for the Auburn Tigers. Is that one? And now a couple of late shoves come in. And the crowd, I think it's Mike Brandon, yeah. Number 97 who got a hand up. Richie Nell into punt for the Auburn Tigers.
Crowd so close like a hockey arena here. Throwing ice on everybody.
Pressure coming up the middle. He got it away again. Nell has done a nice job with some extreme pressure. This is Monty Duncan, and Duncan covered well at the 33-yard line by Auburn. On the special teams, that time it was Dennis Wright who got downfield to cover that 39-yard punt, and only 4 on the return.
Here you go to see the Florida punt rush again. He's got to get it away quick. He does. Puts it up high. And you can see Florida's not committing anybody on the return. Same as last time when Barber took it all that way and ran it back and put another 6 points on the board for Florida.
Pat Sullivan and his quarterback, Stan White. Matthews this time at a draw play. It's Kevin Randolph, I beg your pardon, who takes it across the 45, and John Wiley, the free safety, is there to stop Kelvin, but it's a gain of about 12 in the play. Boy, Florida has really kept Auburn off balance in this first half of play.
I think that's been the story of the game so far. Auburn's ready to get up there and fight and get in your face and hit, but they don't know what they're swinging at. They just kept them off balance the whole game.
Randolph and Rep, the 2 setbacks for the Gators this time. Over the middle, Kirkpatrick at the Auburn 40-yard line. It was Dennis Wallace who knocked him off his feet, but it's a gain of 14. Chains will move, and it is about to go under 3 minutes until halftime.
Same pass, little play-action pass. Kirkpatrick finds the middle of that deep zone. Put on the money again by Matthews. Matthews has been just outstanding, delivering the ball not only on target, but on time, getting it to him at the proper time all night tonight.
Another Florida first down inside the 30-yard line as Barlow had to come up and make the stop on Rep. Florida goes run, then pass, and now back to run.
There you see it. This time it's going to go right up the middle. Cal Dixon, the center, just rides out Richard Shea, number 93, and Rhett reads it, and he's into the secondary. That's just too easy right there.
2 minutes and 30 seconds left until halftime. Gators with a first down just inside the Auburn 30. Gonna go long. Incomplete. That one overthrown. Trey Everett with the intended receiver, and he was open, but it was just about 5 yards over his head. USF&G halftime report. Tim Brando and Lee Corso. Scores and highlights. Virginia, Nebraska, and Illinois all upset today.
We got one going right here so far, too, 24-7. I'll tell you, there's going to be teams that didn't even think they were going to a bowl game going to be in the top 10 here pretty soon.
12 of 15 for 142 yards for Shane Matthews in this first half. Draw play with Rhett. Breaks it clean. Touchdown Gators. This close to 74,000 really whooping it up now as it goes to 30-7 with the extra point attempt coming now from Arden Krzyzewski.
Well, you know, Ron, how some teams, the old theory used to be set up the pass with the run. Florida has set up the run with the pass tonight. It's the draw play again. Redshirt freshman Eric Rett reads it, bounces out into the secondary, and number 9, John Wiley, misses the tackle in the open field, and Rett regains his balance. It's a race to the end zone, and he's in there. This is shocking score, 31-7. One more time from the end zone. You can see it, he gets it deep. Really, no one's fooled this time, but nice block by number 77, Ishmael, right there. Springs him. Wiley can't make the tackle, and Rett, the leading rusher so far for Florida this season, gets into the end zone.
Well, if you've just walked in your home and turned on the television, it is Florida 31 and number 5 ranked Auburn Tigers 7. We still have 2:10 left to play until halftime as Pat Sullivan stands next to his head coach, and the wheels are turning. Pat Dye knows that he still has another 30 to play in the second half and 2:10 to play here. But the Auburn Tigers, who have played on the edge, as we talked about at the top of the telecast so many times, are digging themselves a pretty deep hole right now. Cherry from the 5. He'll take it to the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. And Auburn with plenty of working time here, Gary, with 2:02.
I know what they don't want to do. They don't want to punt again. They just would like to get into halftime and regroup right now. They do have time, though. I'd like to see them go no huddle. Every possession right now, they're going to have to put something on the board. When you're down 31-7, every possession like a 2-minute situation.
Stacy Danley will be the lone setback. White hit as he throws the ball. That's Mike Brandon, who batted the ball down on the last series, who was there applying pressure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when you're winning 31-7. Mike Brandon, he was like shot at that time. He knew the snap count, knew the play, and was in the backfield as fast as Stan White was that time.
White sets the screen, incomplete. I'm not so sure that that wasn't tipped by 54 Murray or Brandon, one of the two. Both were in as the offensive lineman let you through to set up the screen pass, but I'm not so sure somebody didn't tip it.
Well, I think that they need to hold a little bit longer than that. You know, it's 1001, 1002, let them go. Not what, let them go. You got to at least count to 2 first.
Joseph checks into the lineup. Ed King is going out. I assume another offensive lineman came into the ball game. The thing that Auburn is in danger of here with the incomplete passes, there's still a minute 52 left until halftime. They'll give it back if they don't get the first down.
Steve won't have mercy. He'll attack again.
White turns around, looks up, and the 25-second clock shows 0. And now the officials are conferring to see why there was no time up there coming down. Because in the incomplete pass, and Auburn didn't use that much time.
They never reset the clock.
They never reset it. You're right. Now it has been reset and is running. That's the 25-second clock. White going long, has Taylor open, and the first down at the 45-yard line.
Come on, up to the line. Come on, let's get up there. Let's get at least a field goal out of this thing.
Down Auburn. Big play by Auburn to convert on the 3rd down and 10. Rolls the pocket after the play action, throws it incomplete. Fain was covering, and I'm not so sure from where it was thrown, even if he had caught it, he couldn't have come down in bounds.
Nice job by Fain that time. Same play that Taylor ran the play before, a little play action pass, and he was going to cross when he caught it. This time he faked the cross and went to the sideline. Fain did not bite and was there to make the play. Into this win run, they're also going to have to get that ball down near the 20-yard line to kick the field goal. This is a very strong wind they're throwing into.
104 yards passing for Auburn in the first half and 8 rushing yards. That's it here. And a timeout has been called by the Auburn Tigers. 1:27 left until halftime. It is the Gators by 24.
What is McDonald's McRib sandwich?
It's saucy. What it is. Sassy. What it is. Smothered. Spicy. It's full of flavor. Yeah. It's really something. Yo, it's depth. Juicy. Smoking. McRib. What it is.
And now with large fries and an icy Coke, it's McRib Pack.
You know the one McDonald's for food, books, and fun.
In financial matters, as in life, everybody's different. Different needs, different goals. The Principal Financial Group understands. Our financial services are as unique and individual as you are. Personalized solutions that offer each customer an advantage. That's the Principal Edge. It's made us one of America's largest. So for diversified products that fit your financial needs to the letter, look for the Principal Edge.
There are those who thirst for something different, something beyond the ordinary. For them, there is a beer that refreshes like no other. Michelob Dry. Once you've experienced its bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
31-7. The Florida Gators leading the Auburn Tigers. It is a 2nd down and 10, and Auburn with the ball at the 45, their own 45. White trying to get away from Culpepper. He does. Throws it complete. This is Overton, and he will have a gain of a couple as Steve Bartley is there to make the stop. The student of the game is brought to you by the U.S. Army. Be all you can be. And our student of the game is Brad Culpepper of the Florida Gators, history major with a GPA of 3.2. Congratulations to him, the number 50 that we have talked about frequently in this first half. White's pass complete again to Overton, and he will not get out of bounds. Just shy of the first down marker. That's James Spear, number 95, who was there to make the hit.
Or he tried to gamble a little bit and tried to make the Spear miss and double back, but he got burnt right there by not getting out of bounds, and the clock is still running. 42 seconds to go. Obviously, Auburn going without the huddle.
White's pass incomplete, or did Taylor hold on to it? Yes, he did. He looked as though he was, or did he drop it?
Looked like he dropped it to me.
The linesman from the near side said complete. Odom made the hit.
Well, Taylor had the first down. That's all they were trying to pick up. This was a 4th down play. White hits him right in the face with it. But watch Taylor. He tries to pick up some more. He doesn't stay with it long enough. He could have held it. But when Odom comes in, that causes the ball to drop. It's an incomplete pass. Hey, 29 seconds to go. They got the win. They might get another field goal out of this.
Shane Matthews hurries to the line of scrimmage. The clock shows 29 ticks left. He's 12 of 15, 142 yards. Sets the screen. Dexter McNabb. And he cuts outside of his blockers and is going to be tackled at the 46 as Larry Young is there to play it very smartly defensively. Matthews will call a timeout with just that much time left until halftime. McNabb had 2 blockers out there.
He got a little too cute, didn't he? He faked out his own blockers. The guy that he was trying to block. And that's one of the things when you are running on a screen, you just want to get north-south and let those linemen block those guys, because every time you fake, the defensive guy moves also. 14 seconds to go. You still have an opportunity there with the win. They have an opportunity to kick this field goal with the win, so they can still put more points on the board. And you know, Auburn's in shock already. If they put some more on the board, it's really going to be something.
On a total yardage, 4 first downs for the Auburn Tigers in the first half. 8 rushing yards, 111 yards passing. And for the Florida Gators, 14 first downs. They have 245 yards total offense. Coming up at halftime, the USF&G halftime report. Tim Brando and Lee Corso. What a day it has been. Virginia has fallen. Nebraska has fallen. And Illinois has fallen.
And we got one in free fall right now. We're watching.
Over the middle, Kirkpatrick at the 25-yard line. Clock is running to 7 seconds, and they stop it with their final timeout.
You know, as a quarterback throwing the ball in the pro game, you just sit and marvel up here at how good and how well coached this team is. Kirkpatrick is going to run this route off number 56, Daryl Crawford. Just as he passes, the ball's on the way. The timing is just outstanding.
You know, and the point that you make, and particularly being a quarterback for as long as you were, that is so important.
Well, he throws that ball before Kirkpatrick gets to the hole, and that's what you have to do, is have that feel. When he hits those passes early in the game, you could just see it all over, the way he walked, the way he was in the huddle. He just felt that, hey, this is my night.
Also takes a lot of fortitude to deliver it a little early over the middle, doesn't it?
Well, when you got some in the bank, when you're already 15 for 16, you know, you can just let them fly.
Krzyzewski to attempt a 42-yard field goal. Gators lead 31-7. As the distance, and as you could see him jump for joy, it is good. And with that, the clock is on double zeros. It is halftime at Florida Field in Gainesville.
Ron, this is the type of game when you're a team like Auburn visiting. They've only played 2 road games this year. This is the 3rd, and never in a setting like this, 70-some thousand people cheering. The other team is in a groove, and you're just trying to find a way to stop the blood from bleeding right now.
The Florida Gators, 34, and the Auburn Tigers, who are ranked number 5 in the nation, 7. Tim and Lee will be coming on, but right now, let's pause for this break.
Some may go less. Some may go more. If you're interested in a longer life, drive a Volvo.
ESPN's coverage of college football continues. Now with all the scores and highlights, Tim Brando and Lee Corso.
We welcome you to the USF&G halftime report. Tim Brando. Just a footnote on our game right now. The 34 points that Florida has gotten against Auburn more than equals the number of points scored in the 4 previous games against Auburn. They had scored 31 points in 4 games. I think the storyline there is Steve Spurrier is now the head football coach at Florida. Now let's talk about what's going on around the Southeastern Conference, and specifically the biggest beneficiary of a Florida victory is Mississippi. The Rebels under Billy Brewer trying to go 8-1 and do something they haven't done in quite a while, get to a Sugar Bowl. Randy Baldwin with the 3rd of 3 touchdowns that he had in the first half, a squandered extra point, a missed try for 2, the reason they have 19 on the board. Harvey Williams, by the way, with a flea flicker out to Marcus Carter, responsible for LSU's lone touchdown in the game. On to the Pac-10 as we talk about games that are currently ongoing right now to update you on games in progress that are of great meaning. California taking on USC. Southern Cal with Marinovich back in the game midway through the first quarter. 77 yards here, Lee.
He runs a bootleg to his right, hits John Morton. He gets a good block, and he's going 77 yards, as you said. USC needs to have Marinovich get hot so that he could continue to put those teams into a major bowl. USC can still go to a major bowl.
Yeah, now a day of upsets in college football we want to tell you about now, folks. California and USC, that game 24-24 because Royster, after that pass by Marinovich, goes in from 6 yards out. Remember, Ricky Irvins is not at full strength. Now the upsets. Here they come. Georgia Tech and Virginia. Well, you'd have to say that most of the Cavalier faithful felt that they would come away with the win and glide right into the Citrus Bowl with a matchup with Notre Dame. Didn't happen. Look at this. Sisson with a 37-yard field goal to win the game 41-38. Footnote on the game, George Welsh, with over 2 minutes left, had a touchdown. It was called back because 6 men were on the line of scrimmage. Incorrect. They can't do that, so they have to go for 3. He decides to do it. I don't understand why. Lee Corso does. Now let's talk about some other games. Colorado State and Wyoming. Colorado State snapping Wyoming's unbeaten streak at 9 straight games. Paul Roach's team loses by a final score of 17-8. Game was put on the shelf with 1:21 to go after a Colorado State interception return for touchdown. Notre Dame taking on Navy today. Lou Holtz is not happy with his defense. You can understand why. Specifically, this game was tight for a while. It was 10-10 at the half. Ismail, 4th straight game, 200-plus all-purpose yards. Now, Colorado and Nebraska in the game, the matchup for the Orange Bowl and potential national championship ramifications, as seen earlier today on ESPN. The Buffaloes in Lincoln, 6-0 at the half, 3rd quarter. Eric Bieniemy fumbles. That led to a Nebraska touchdown, and the Huskers go up 12-0. Bieniemy, well, he's despondent, but watch out because Darian Hagan will go to work, and Mike Pritchard, underrated for quite some time, on the receiving end this time. Next possession, Pritchard shows great hands again down the sidelines, and this is the part of the offense that McCartney's put in this year that he installed to make the difference. That catch set up this Bieniemy run to make it 13-12 Buffaloes. Late in the game, 4th and 2, fake punt. Doesn't work for Nebraska. Not the kind of call you would expect from a Tom Osborne coach team. Eric Bieniemy, take that, you Huskers. 27-12. Colorado gets the victory in the ball game, and specifically what this does is throw the national championship hunt really up in the air, Lee Corso. I don't think that there's any way anyone can come up with a smooth way of winning the national title.
No way. And the thing that impressed me about Colorado in the 4th quarter, they actually just out-hit Nebraska. They wanted a game more than Nebraska.
And remember this, with Auburn losing the way they are right now, Notre Dame will not play Auburn in the Sugar Bowl for a national championship, but Notre Dame could play Colorado in a rematch in the Orange Bowl for a national championship. That's what we get paid for, is to think about things like this. 34-7 Florida at the half.
A little brains, a little luck, and a lot of late nights. A good family, a good spot, and some good advice. That's the way it's supposed to be. The USF&G is standing behind me. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me.
On a night like this, you'll be grateful for a safety feature found in almost every Chrysler car you rent from Thrifty. A safety feature Thrifty hopes you'll never see. It's an airbag. That's right, an airbag. In about half the time it takes to blink your eye, this airbag can inflate and save your life. At Thrifty, we take safety as seriously as savings. Thrifty, because it's your money.
How do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? You start with a real premium beer. That's how Anheuser-Busch makes O'Doul's. O'Doul's is carefully brewed, fully fermented, and cold-aged. Then the alcohol is naturally removed, retaining all the great taste. So how do you get real premium beer taste in a non-alcoholic brew? Ask for an ice-cold O'Doul's. O'Doul's, the taste will win you over.
This USF&G Halftime Report is brought to you by USF&G Insurance, protecting your business, home, auto, and life. USF&G, standing behind the USA.
All right, Iowa and Illinois as we continue with the race in the Big Ten, and the showdown between these two clubs invariably would mean the Rose Bowl. 2nd quarter, Iowa leads 28-7. Look at Jim Hartley pull the fake field goal to Matt Whitaker for the touchdown. Hawkeyes, easily, if you're looking for the most shocking score of the day, it would be this one for Hayden Fry. 54-28, the Hawkeyes with the victory in the game. Iowa had not won there since 1979. Michigan taking on Purdue in the Big Ten. The Wolverines 38-13. Vaughn with 131 yards on the ground, and it's been since '84 since Purdue beat Michigan. Indiana and Michigan State 45-20. The Spartans with the victory in the first game that you saw on ESPN earlier today. Big game for Duckett and Hickson. Ohio State, the Buckeyes, are looming now for the Hawkeyes on their schedule. That's clearly the toughest hurdle for Hayden Fry's team. They beat Northwestern today 48-7. Minnesota, a team that's improving, that also will have its shot at the Hawkeyes of Iowa in the final game of the Big Ten. They beat Wisconsin today 21-3. On to the Southwest Conference, TCU and Leon Clay. Think about this. Out for the season, all Matt Vogler does is go in for him and throw for a record 693 yards today in a losing cause against Houston. And look out, the Cougars could be the ineligible team that wins the national championship in one poll. As wild as things are now, that's a probability, not a possibility. Texas Tech and TCU 41-22. Texas beating Texas Tech, I should say, 41-22 in the ball game. And the Longhorns still looking good for the Cotton. Texas A&M and SMU 38-17. Darren Lewis keeps on keeping on. 207 yards on the ground for him today. Rice, Fred Goldsmith going after a winning season for the first time in a long while, beating up on Arkansas 10-0. Even though the Hogs are down, congratulations to the job by Fred Goldsmith and the folks from Rice. On to the Pac-10. Arizona, a team that you figure has a shot against a team like Washington, right? Wrong. Washington right now is an outstanding club. 103 yards on the ground for Greg Lewis and a 73-yard punt return for Bino Bryant. The Huskies may have an outside shot at the national championship now in the Rose Bowl. Oregon and UCLA playing earlier today, and Oregon gets the win. First time that has happened since 1953 that the Ducks would get the victory. Washington State and Stanford 31-13. The Cardinal, Jason Columbus, another big afternoon to McCaffrey, who had that big day against Notre Dame, you'll recall. USC has now taken the lead over California 31-24. Marinovich with an 18-yard strike to give USC the lead. Still time remaining in that ball game. We have a lot more yet to cover. We'll take a look at the wild, wild whack when we come back. But first, as we go to break, take a look at the Qs beating up on Boston College.
I'm not an actor. I'm a career police officer, and I want everyone to know about the Club, the most foolproof car theft prevention device I've ever seen. FBI statistics show that last year, 1 of every 43 cars was stolen or vandalized. The Club could virtually eliminate auto theft. The tempered steel Club locks onto your car's steering wheel in seconds, making it practically impossible to steal. It's highly visible, too. Car thieves see the Club and keep on going. That's why over 600 police departments like mine endorse and recommend the Club. If everyone used the Club, we police could forget about auto theft and spend our time dealing with more serious crimes like murder, rape, and drugs. You can buy the Club at all good stores that handle auto accessories for less than $60, except no imitations. I recommend the Club.
The following message is brought to you by the Southeastern Conference. Athletic and academic excellence. The Southeastern Conference, the standard for excellence.
My college football experience has been both exciting and significant. Exciting in that it provided me the opportunity to continue my education, the team camaraderie, preparation, competition, the joy of victory, disappointment, and defeat. Significant in that I've found these same factors to be essential in my career after sports as well as my personal life. College football will always be important to me.
College football prepares you for the game of life.
We're going to talk about the independents in the Southeastern Conference now. Miami wins over Pitt today 45-0. If Notre Dame loses next week to Tennessee, it could be Miami that could get Colorado in the Orange Bowl. BYU taking on Air Force this afternoon, and BYU's Ty Detmer. Another tremendous performance, 397 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he was out of the game midway in the third quarter over the Falcons. Now the Southeastern Conference, non-conference tilt for Tennessee. And why not? They get Notre Dame next week, so why not schedule Temple now? 41-20. Roland Poles and Tony Thompson, each with a couple of touchdown runs in the game. Alabama and Mississippi State, the tide is rolling. They'll get Auburn at the end of the year. Even if they lose that game, they could go 6-5 and still make it to a bowl. Also, back into the Southern Independence, Florida State, soon to be in the ACC, knocking off South Carolina, soon to be in the SEC, 41-10. Amp Lee, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Stay with us. We've got a lot more to talk about on the USF&G Halftime Report. And as we take you to break, consider that Yale and Princeton will be our Ivy League tilt next week. Both come away with winners today. They play at 12:30 Eastern Time next week on ESPN.
Has anybody thought about dynamite?
So, who's the computer for?
For my daughter. College.
There are moments when Gold MasterCard makes a difference.
Can I,
Oh, no, I got this one.
That's my dad.
With more buying power and the best buyer protection.
My skateboard.
Master Purchase covers you for 90 days against loss, theft, or breakage.
Dad?
If anything happens, one phone call will replace it.
Maybe I should carry this one, Dad.
Gold MasterCard, the best gold card to master the moment.
The spirit of Auburn lives on as one of its famous sons returns to campus. Bo Jackson spends valuable time in the classroom working toward a degree in family and child development to achieve his lifetime goal.
The value of a college education to me is something that I'll always have. I'll have for the rest of my life, and after I'm finished with the sports world, it's something that I can fall back on.
In the ACC, Clemson, who's claimed a national championship out of that league, beat North Carolina today, 20-3. Dexter Davis, another interception return, his third of the year for a TD. Virginia Tech, the folks from VPI country, beating North Carolina State today, 20-16. Wake Forest and Duke. Wake Forest is next on Georgia Tech's schedule. That's why you can pencil in Georgia Tech to the Citrus. Duke beat them today, 57-20. Speaking of Georgia Tech, here it is again. They get the victory, 41-38. Look for them to head to the Citrus Bowl without a problem. Now, some independents that we want to talk about in the top 25. Penn State, West Virginia. West Virginia has only beaten Penn State twice in the 80s, an 84-17-14, ending a 28-year streak for Penn State, and then with Major Harris a couple of seasons ago, and Paterno got another victory today. Louisville and Cincinnati, Howard Schnellenberger, it could be aloha for him onto the grass skirts and the bowls in the latter part of December. He beat the Bearcats today by a score of 41-16. Our halftime score, something I'm sure Pat Dye would rather not see.
I never saw you hit so well. I'm here in 3, you're here in 1. Ah, Bill.
How'd you do, Jack?
In 3, out in 3. What are you doing? You're playing your best golf, and every time I look up, you're staring at TV. Saturday cartoons make you so good?
It's a special Golf Digest instructional video. The Golf Digest schools pulled 10 instant golf lessons from their 10-cassette collection.
Graphics, instruction, real professional advice, 10 instant lessons?
A half hour of the best stuff for a golfer.
It's priceless.
It's free.
Free?
With my subscription to Golf Digest.
Get a full year of Golf Digest for $19.77. Call 800-367-5800 now and get our free half-hour instructional video with your paid subscription. Call 800-367-5800 now.
Our research program is focused on attempting to understand the effects of environmental chemicals on fetal growth.
Dr. Kathy Shiverick, a reproductive toxicologist in the biotechnology program at the University of Florida.
I am thrilled with being a teacher. The real excitement in teaching comes with helping students to gain new insights, and you can see it in their faces.
The promise of research is being realized at the University of Florida.
Just about all we've determined today, Lee Corso, is no, Virginia, you're not number one. Yes, ABC, Wonder Years will be seen at its regularly scheduled time on January 2nd. The Citrus Bowl won't be on.
Well, I want to tell you one thing right now. I just took off Auburn. There's only 2 undefeated teams. Wyoming's gone, Nebraska's gone, Virginia's gone. Yeah. You got to be kidding me. There's only 2 undefeated teams in the nation. Houston Tech won't. So
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to win it.
Remember that. But then again, coaches vote and writers vote. Pat Dye has no vote right now. Let's get out to Ron Franklin.
Well, we're at halftime, and there's the score. The Florida Gators, who were slight favorites in this football game, leading at halftime by a count of 34-7. And I can tell you right now, the 34 points is the most they have ever scored on an Auburn football team.
An Auburn football team that came in here the 5th in the country. I mean, this is a good football team that's run into a buzzsaw tonight, and they don't know how to stop it.
Well, let's take a look at some of the positives as far as Florida has had tonight.
Florida has given Matthews the time to throw the ball. There you see Dixon and Bromley, the guard and center, handling rocker. When you give a Steve Spurrier offense time to throw the ball, quarterbacks are effective. They've also been effective running the ball tonight. 24
vote right now. Let's get out to Ron Franklin.
Well, we're at halftime, and there's the score. The Florida Gators, who were slight favorites in this football game, leading at halftime by a count of 34-7. And I can tell you right now, the 34 points is the most they have ever scored on an Auburn football team.
An Auburn football team that came in here the 5th in the country. I mean, this is a good football team that's run into a buzzsaw tonight, and they don't know how to stop it.
Well, let's take a look at some of the positives as far as Florida has had tonight.
Florida has given Matthews the time to throw the ball. There you see Dixon and Bromley, the guard and center, handling rocker. When you give a Steve Spurrier offense time to throw the ball, quarterbacks are effective. They've also been effective running the ball tonight. 24 rushes for 96 yards in the first half. That sets up your play-action game. Here McClendon takes in one of his 2 touchdowns, as Florida has done just about anything they've wanted to do.
And they've had a great balance of run and pass. Let's go down to the field and visit with Kevin Kiley about the first half. Kevin.
Well, thank you, Ron. Pat Dye was kind enough to speak to me after what must have been a very difficult halftime for him. I asked him about the young quarterback, Stan White. He said Stan had a lot of pressure on him in that first half, not only from the Florida defense, but from the crowd. But he also said, hey, young quarterbacks have to go through this type of thing. Well, Stan's got another half to go through here, and how he reacts to this may tell a story about how he will go forward in his Auburn career. Back upstairs to you guys.
Oh, we're just about set to get the second half underway. Ryan Ruland will kick it off for the Florida Gators, as the Auburn Tigers had won the toss tonight and deferred to the second half. And of course, Auburn, elementary to say, but they got to get something going, so they want to get their hands on the football. This is going to come down to Casey from the 10 to start the second half. First half stats, and this tells much of the story as far as Florida having their own way. Auburn with only 4 first downs, and look 4 lines down. Rushing yardage, only 8 yards. 111 yards passing, as they are 8 of 18. White has been picked off a couple of times. And as far as Florida is concerned, 169 yards passing and 96 on the ground. White over the middle, almost intercepted. That's Will White, who has 6 interceptions on the year, almost got his 7th.
There you see it. One guy's on a hot roll. He got off the mark Matthews threw for 169 yards. White struggled, had a couple interceptions. The edge obviously tonight goes to Matthews. Put 34 points on the board.
White waits until the last moment, throws it high, incomplete. Casey was the closest man to it, number 20.
Will.
So it'll be 3rd down for Auburn. 3rd down and 10. Florida 265 first half yards. And for the Auburn Tigers, barely over 100. Here comes the pressure from the outside, gets it away, and I mean White just got leveled by P. Bartley. And White is flat of his back at the 7-yard line. Stan has not moved since he was hit.
Stan got rid of the ball right here, but P. Bartley never broke stride. Nobody touched him. He comes off the corner. Not enough guys to pick it. Somebody should be hot, and he catches him as he unloads it, drives him into the ground. That's when it hurts, when they drive you into the ground. They never let up. You can see Bartley, he comes, he never breaks strides, catch him with a perfect legal tackle. That's what pressure can do.
Stan's still being attended to. He wears the flak jacket.
Yeah, he needed more than a flak jacket. He needed a bulletproof vest on that one. The speed was just coming.
You have to understand also that White weighs close to 200 pounds, and Bartley, with the force that he came and hit him with, he picked him up like a piece of paper and slammed him into the ground.
One of the tough things is there you see he comes off the corner. He's on Taylor, and he just comes off. The linebackers in this 4-4 defense, sometimes they're safeties, sometimes they're corners, sometimes they're rushing as linebackers. Fee Bartley and Godfrey Miles do a great job of playing both the secondary and blitzing the quarterback.
Gary, it also looked as though that the pressure of the hit might have come down on his right shoulder.
It might have been the right shoulder. It might have been that he just didn't have any breath. It feel like, you know, anybody that's played sports before, you know, when you get the breath knocked out of you, it feels like you're dying out there. Even if you've done it before, you feel like you're dying.
Trying to get the breath and it just won't come. That's right. Number 1, Richie Nell stands to punt back at the 6-yard line as 3 straight passes go awry, and Nell, hanging this spiral, is not going to turn over, and Terrence Barber hit immediately. Good coverage downfield on a short kick, and Florida will have it at the 44-yard line. That's Alex Thomas on the hit.
Great job by Barber there, though, like just catching the ball. You don't know where that's going to bounce. He comes up, makes the catch, and maybe saves 15 yards just by making the catch. Every time Florida goes for the punt block, every time, so you're back there by yourself.
Boy, on Thursday, we'll talk more about it as the special teams come on again, but they work individually on blocking punts, and they do it for a lengthy time every Thursday. McClendon with McNabb in front, going to cut it underneath, and Tate, oh my goodness, big Walter Tate is there to send him backwards. That's going to be a loss of a couple of yards in the play. Let's go down to Kevin Kiley and get this update on quarterback Stan White.
Ron, Stan was hit in the middle of his stomach there when he was hit on the pass rush. He seemed to be all right. They worked on his rib cage. He was breathing fine when he left the field, and I'm sure he'll be back in the game.
Second down. It is almost intercepted. That was Eric Ramsey who had cut in front. Barber was the intended receiver at the 28. And probably one of the worst passes that Matthews has thrown tonight.
Well, Barber actually overran the hole a little bit too, Ron. The hole was there, and one receiver went to the flat. Barber was going to curl, and he just kind of overran it. The ball was on the way. Matthews feels so confident in his passing game right now. When he sees the hole, he's throwing it where he thinks the receiver is going to be. That's why they're so tough to stop.
13 minutes, 48 seconds left to play. Early going to this third period. 34-7. Florida leads. Matthews incomplete over the middle. Kirkpatrick, the intended receiver. And Kirkpatrick wants a flag on Alex Thomas. He thought that he might have been gripping him around the waist. No call.
Auburn's in their nickel defense. They're going to play a lot of man-to-man off this. Kirkpatrick stays in the game. A little man-to-man route. He gets inside, a little pressure release. You can see Thomas kind of grab Kirkpatrick's left arm. That's what Kirk was complaining about, and that threw off the timing in the pass. Thomas gets away with it. Good job.
Was the deep man as you look at Arden Krzyzewski, junior from Tampa, Florida. And they're coming after him. Gets his kick away with a win. And it will go into the end zone. Very close to taking the Florida bounce, but touchback has been called. So let's take a look at the top 10. This has been a topsy-turvy day. We know that 3 of the elite have fallen. Virginia losing to Georgia Tech. Notre Dame was victorious. Nebraska lost at home. Auburn trailing big right now. Illinois was defeated by Iowa. Houston has defeated TCU. Washington won over Arizona. Miami defeated Pittsburgh. Colorado with a win. And BYU, big win over Air Force. Frank McIntosh has the ball batted at the line of scrimmage at number 90. Huey Richardson got a hand up and batted the ball down.
A little bit of hue from the crowd. Frank McIntosh, the senior, who was Reggie Slack's backup for the last few years, is now going to get a chance to play. He competed very hard this spring, trying to win this starting job. There you see his stats in his career. Not the type of situation you'd like to play in, but he's going to get a chance to throw the ball on the good side also.
Blitz coming from Odom in the middle. Pass incomplete as McIntosh had blue jerseys all over him, and Tim Paul, number 99, the junior from Miami, is there to also to pressure.
Coming in as a backup in this situation, I mean, I've had it happen to me. You come into a game that's practically out of hand unless you can put some points on the board early. What you got to do is not try to score on every play. Just be relaxed, read it out the way you're supposed to, try to move the chains, get into the rhythm of the football game first.
Auburn 1 of 9 on third down conversions. They need the 30. McIntosh hit, and he is sacked by Ed Robinson. It's a loss of 10, and again, keep an eye on the Florida special teams as Richie Nell will have to kick from 5 yards deep in his own end zone.
The Florida defense is showing no mercy. You can see Jerry Odom's on the rush. 7 men are coming, and the freshman Ed Robinson gets him and throws him down.
Nell, beautiful kick into the wind. Barber from the 44. Terrence will be pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 12:41 left in the third. Gators by 27.
It's feeding time for the beast in the basement again. And you know what that old furnace is going to do to your utility bills. Isn't this the year you should find out about the savings TempStar's high efficiency can bring? Replace that thing in the basement with a high efficiency TempStar furnace. Start the savings, not the beast.
Now, for the price of an ordinary 4x4, you can own the American legend. The new Jeep Cherokee Sport with 4 doors, shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive, and a new high-output 4-liter engine. It's a whole different animal.
Save up to $2,500 on 1990 Cherokees or get 50th anniversary discounts on select 91s.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
And remember, when you return the car, Enterprise will be glad to drop you home. Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
ESPN's College Football Saturday, Auburn and Florida, is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one Jeep. And by Levi's, 505 and 506 jeans. Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Kevin Kiley from Florida Field in Gainesville, Florida. It is 34-7. The Gators on top. In the first half, pass distribution, wide receivers caught 7, running backs 3, the tight end Kirkpatrick had 4, and of course the quarterback caught 1 when the ball was headed back to him.
Minus 8 or 9.
This is McNabb. Gets to the outside, spins off Jason Merchant's tackle, and he will take it to the 42-yard line.
McNabb on the carry.
Florida knows the feeling in reverse just 3 weeks ago up at Tennessee as far as what can happen in one half of football. And that is what happened to the Auburn Tigers in the first 30 minutes.
The only thing in this game, though, for the Auburn, they've just been soundly beaten on offense and defense. You know, you could point the last time a kickoff return, some things happened. But this time, it's just been every phase of the game they've been dominating.
Matthews, incomplete. That is Kirkpatrick diving for it at the 25. Corey Barlow, closest man to it on the cover. And of course, as if everything else didn't go wrong with offense and defense on the special teams, the 77-yard return.
On a time when, like Pat Dye said, they were going for the block. Here you see Kirkpatrick again. He squares up his man. The ball's just a little wide, and he almost comes up with it, the one-handed, left-handed try. Kirkpatrick is so sound in his routes. I don't think he's overly fast or overly strong, but he runs them properly, the proper depth, and he straightens up every time and makes sharp cuts.
Auburn with pressure from the outside and has it complete to Eric Rett. And he has the Florida first down as Cunningham finally trips him up at the 26. That's good for 16 yards.
The blitz comes from the outside, and Matthews gets it off to his back. Riley quickly. Cunningham, though, does not keep proper leverage. He gets beat outside a play where they should have just thrown the short pass and made the tackle. Rett turns into a big gainer. Cunningham with not the proper angle on a very simple pass. It's hard to get beat by that much on a 2-yard pass.
Stan Kunis was the man who was coming with the blitz as McNabb and Rett come in as the setbacks for the Gators. Rett, no place to go, pops it to the outside and winds up with about 3 yards. Merchant again, number 96. He's a freshman from Centronel, Alabama. Got to be second down at about 6 yards for the Florida Gators.
And there's a play again on the draw play, which has become a staple tonight for them. They must have run that play 6-8 times tonight. Could have been stopped in the backfield, and they get positive yards out of a bad play.
Gary, the chains are hung up on the far side of the field and had not moved in time. The down marker had moved, and now they're just now getting it untangled from that cord across the way.
The chain crew is going to need a break if they keep putting up more and more first downs.
Florida now with 289 total yards. McNabb. Merchant, number 96, reached up and grabbed him by an ankle and will keep him short of the first down by a couple as they're going to mark it around the 18.
Well, Merchants came in and made the most of his opportunity. We must have called his name 4 times already. There's going to be a lot of guys seeing some playing time tonight. If they don't put some points on the board, they've got to have a stop here. It's still possible to put some touchdowns on the board. They could get 3 touchdowns, go for 2 each time, and still get back in this game. Tigers got to get a stop.
Willie McClendon, who has had a big night, comes in at one of the running back spots, along with Rick. Gets the handoff, and McClendon will have the first down and about 4 more. John Wiley holding on for dear life, and the Gators can do no wrong. David Rocker also helping out on the stop.
Well, you've got to credit the offensive line here. Dixon, Bromley, Rowell, they just keep their legs moving, and they're going to push and push and push. And what happens when McClendon gets the ball, he just keeps moving with his legs, spinning, turning. Very similar to the time he scored the touchdown on. He's falling forward, turning and spinning, and keeps the feet going.
Well, Willie had not been the starter. He had been playing behind Rhett, who was the leading rusher. And his return as a starter has been kind of a rebirth for him.
Well, he just looks like he is a little better north-south runner. And against this hard-hitting Auburn defense, that's his story Steve wanted to go to. But Rhett has made some nice plays tonight also, the redshirt freshman. James
Willis makes the stop, and at that time, it's good for a gain of a couple. Probably the thing that has been the most pleasant surprise for Steve Spurrier tonight is when we talked yesterday, he said, we've got to find out early if we can pass block and also run block at all against Auburn.
Well, running a little bit. I mean, they don't have to put 250 yards rushing on the board, but it sets up their play-action pass game so nicely. A passing team must have the changeup of the run available to them.
Willie McClendon to the right side. Wiley on the tackle. I don't believe he has the first down. It looks like it's going to be 3rd down and 1.
When things are going well, just any play you dial, I tell you what, Steve doesn't have to be a genius right now. I'll give him all the credit in the world. He's got an offense that keeps him off balance. But right now, anything he dials is working right now.
Well, now actually they have put it a couple of yards away. It's down at the 4. To pick up the first down, the Florida Gators need to go to the Auburn 2-yard line. McClendon on the pitch. Same play he scored on earlier, and this time Auburn is there defensively. Eric Ramsey and also number 51 James Willis pushing him out of bounds. It'll be 4th down and just over a yard to pick up the first.
You got to believe he feels hot. Everything he's tried so far has worked. You can see him signaling in the play this time. He's got the unit.
Eric Rett headed on the field, now has been called back. Greg Keller was going to come off, the second tight end, and they have left him on the field. And now Matthews looking back, and he's not satisfied, so he calls a Florida timeout.
They only had 10 guys out there.
8:05 left in the 3rd period, and Florida uses a timeout.
Recently, Four Wheel and Off-Road magazine tested the latest imports and domestics to determine this year's 4x4 of the year. The winner was then tested against past 4x4 of the year winners to determine the best of the best. They compared power, performance, and handling. And when it was over, Jeep Cherokee stood on familiar ground.
Save up to $2,500 on 1990 Cherokees or get 50th anniversary discounts on select 91s.
Oh, here we go!
You're dust, baby.
Zombie Blitz! How you like me now, baby? Got the life insurance? Call 911!
It's feeding time for the beast in the basement again, and you know what that old furnace is going to do to your utility bills, but you don't have to let that monster upset your budget. Send for Tempstar's Home Comfort Guide. It's free consumer information about the savings you can obtain with a high-efficiency furnace. The Comfort Guide informs you so that you can make the right choice when the time comes to replace old equipment. Before you start that beast in your basement, start something that could save you money every month. The information is free, and so is the call.
back in Gainesville, Florida. Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Kevin Kiley. 8:05 left in the third period. 34-7 in the Gators with a 4th down, just over a yard at the 3. McNabb spins off a tackler, and he is very close in the vicinity of the 2-yard line. Walter Tate and James Willis combined the stop, but Gary, from where they have come in from this side of the field, I would think that he has it in just barely.
He has to cross the 2-yard line. It looks like the first down marker is just inside the 2 until they unpile here. Well, that's going to be close.
I don't think he got marked, I don't know.
I don't think he got a very good spot. I thought he was a little bit farther ahead, and that sometimes when you run the ball inside there, it's tough to get that ball spotted exactly. It's going to be real close.
Florida defense is lining up on the near side. First down, Florida.
When you're hot, huh? You know it's close when after they measure, the guys are still arguing whether it's a first down or not. Here you see him bouncing around. It looks like he's leaned forward a lot more than just that 2-yard line. When he gets shoved back, doesn't make any difference. They're going to get the first down call anyway. 1st and goal from inside the 2.
First and goal, Florida. McClendon on the pitch. Chalk up another.
Well, this is the 3rd time they've scored on this play alone, Ron. I think when he gets in the huddle right now, Matthews says T formation, touchdown play to the right, and everybody knows what to do because they're just pounding it in there. Kirkpatrick, again, because they throw on the goal line, Kirkpatrick is a threat, so it's easy for him to get those blocks down there.
Arden Krzyzewski knocks it home, and with that, Gary, a couple of things go into the record book. That is equaling the most points ever allowed by a Pat Dye Auburn team. 41 in a loss to Nebraska. That was in 1982. And 41 points to Florida State in 84, but they won that one, 42-41.
I talked to Dave Hausel at halftime, the sports information director from Auburn, and he said in that 41 points that Nebraska scored, there was a lot of turnovers and punt returns and a lot of things happened. This game was just out and out. They're getting beat on the football team, on the field.
Well, let's go down to the sideline and Kevin Kiley.
All right, Ron. Ron, to say the crowd has been a factor in this game would be an understatement. It's a new Florida field record, 75,459 in a 72,000-seat stadium. But hold on to your hat. That's not all. The Board of Governors has approved an expansion. And beginning Monday, this is the last home game, they're going to break ground on a new part of Florida Field. They're going to take out the scoreboard and add 10,000 more seats. And what will that do? It'll make Florida Field the 8th largest on-campus stadium in the country, and it'll be a real problem for visiting teams. Even my mouse ears haven't helped me tonight. Back up to you.
Thanks, Kevin. That, of course, was the artist rendering. At the 25, and now out to the 22-yard line. 21, Alex Smith, the junior from College Park, Georgia, making the return.
Ron, I think the crowd has been a factor here tonight, and this crowd is very loud. But the main factor has been this Florida football team on the field. If there were 10,000 people in the stands, they were making things happen. They're blocking, they're timing. They're in a zone that you get sometimes when just everything works.
Let's look at it this way. There's been a very good marriage between the two. Stan White, happy to report, back in the lineup for the Auburn Tigers. Shaken up earlier, but now okay. Williams straight ahead, and good heavens, what a hit. 54. The first man to come across was Mark Murray, and Huey Richardson is down at the bottom of the stack. Here you made the point that when things are going right, they go right. And it's not only offensively, but they're dialing the right things defensively.
When the two defensive ends meet the tailback in the hole, You know something's not going right on your offense.
Blitz coming up the middle. White gets it away, has his man open, and Wasden with the reception. Nope, they're going to say incomplete at the 44. Mark Murray again putting on pressure.
Jim Bates is not letting up, brought 8 people again. Stan White a little bit off balance as he throws this one. He's got a guy in his face. He's going to throw it just a little bit short. Let's just check out and see if we got the proper call here. Goes down. Does he get his hands underneath it? Boy, I tell you, it's like he caught that one.
8 of 21, 2 interceptions. And with that one, Stan has now missed 6 in a row. 41-7, Florida leads. 6:50 remaining, third period. Almost intercepted by P. Bartley. Good heavens, would that have been the coup de grace?
This time Florida fakes the blitz. They bail out. Stan White stays with Greg Taylor a little bit too long. Watch Bartley. He reads White. He breaks on the ball, and he has this one. He's got too much tape on his hand so to catch it. Got the gloves on. Oh, God, I want that end zone.
Nell. Fair catch has been called for by Barber, and he makes it down at the 33-yard line. That's 40 yards in the kick by Richie Nell, the 7th time that he has had to come in and perform tonight. Oh, don't forget, coming up next week, College Game Day at 11:30 Eastern Time. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Charlene Hawks. And then our schedule, the Ivy League, Princeton versus Yale at 12:30. Teams to be announced for both the middle game at 4 o'clock and also the 7:30 Eastern Time game. But a triple header next week right here on ESPN following College Game Day. Matthews with a quick out pass to Rhett. Dennis Wallace, one of the first ones to come over and make the hit. That's a gain of about 4.
Little quick screen. Out to Rhett, lined up as a receiver. 1, 2, 3, throw it out to him. The line gets out there and try to pop it. Well, even when the plays don't work tonight, they're still getting 4 or 5 yards on them. And they've just run about every play they've had in their offense so far.
Kevin Randolph comes into the backfield, the freshman from Tallahassee. Eric Rhett breaks it to the outside and is down at the 42-yard line. Corey Barlow got just enough of it.
Kevin Randolph, the redshirt freshman, number 30, puts the block on the isolation play and breaks Rhett into the secondary. Rhett's just a fine-looking broken field runner. Very good cutback runner, reads the hole and has patience at the hole.
Gary, also you could see number 81, Monty Duncan, downfield blocking, taking his man out of the play.
Everybody wants to get in the act tonight.
4 carries, 64 yards, and 1 touchdown for Eric Rhett. He's a freshman, Pembroke Pines, Florida. Pumps, gonna go long. Looking for Trey Everett, and it went right through his hands at the 1-yard line. Ramsey was on the cover.
Eric Ramsey did a real nice job right now. They've been running the little curl route. There you see the pump action. This time Trey Everett runs the curl and go. Ramsey reads it. He gets back in coverage. But watch how well thrown this ball is to the outside. And Everett still had a chance to catch that ball about a yard from the end line.
Stops the clock with 5:20 to play in the third. Rhett spins off one tackler, gets away from Merchant, and finally Tate comes over to help out. That's going to be at the 39-yard line, and it'll bring up a third down for Florida. They need the 32-yard line of Auburn.
Auburn's going to come in with their nickel defense. They have 6 defensive backs on the field, taking out the 2 inside linebackers. Alex Thomas has been drawing the assignment of trying to match up with Kirkpatrick all night, and that is not a tough job. That's a tough job for just about anyone.
Rhett will be the lone setback. Flag goes down. The 25-second clock had not run out. And I guess we're going to have a legal procedure against.
Ball start, right tackle move, offense.
So Rao came out of the stance just a little too soon. And 5 yards on. Now it's 3rd down and 12. Steve Spurrier said his ball club had gotten over Tennessee. And I think he's right. Those to his tight end, Kirkpatrick, that time covered well by Alex Thomas, knocked it away, and it'll be 4th down, and the punting unit comes on.
Thomas chased him across the field and had a nice job. He got his hand on that one, but he really wasn't going to pick the first down up anyway, so it was good defense. They were in the proper zone and the coverages, and they did a good job.
5th time that Arden has had to kick tonight. From the crowd means a great high coverage kick, but just a little too far. Used a 6-iron, should have been a 7. We will take a break. Gators big.
Success. My boy here just got promoted. Company gave him some stock. So before our celebration lunch, I took him to Schwab. We watched the board together. I told him how much he'd save on commissions. We got the latest news on his stock. Then I said, look, take 5 minutes, open an account. He gets this big grin. Turns out he already had a Schwab account. That's my boy.
We give you more ways to succeed.
Surprises. Dad didn't know I'd been calling Schwab for years, but I'd never been inside a Schwab branch. Look what I found. Free information on investing for safety, on mutual funds, on using my own computer to trade stocks. And the whole time I was at Schwab, I never got a sales pitch, except from Dad.
We give you more ways to succeed.
One full day of NFL action in just 60 minutes. In-depth highlights of every game played on Sunday. It's football's fastest hour, NFL Primetime. Sundays at 7 Eastern, only on ESPN. The battle for NASCAR's Winston Cup Championship can't get much closer. Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt continue to grind it out at the Checker 500. Plus, you could win a new car. Sunday afternoon, live on ESPN.
The Auburn-Florida game of 1966 was memorable indeed for Gator quarterback Steve Spurrier. His precision passing was already earning national acclaim. And with the game tied at 27, they would need more than his arm.
I was actually our longer distance field goal kicker. I could usually hit from 35 to 40, and it was exactly a 40-yard attempt. I hit the ball right exactly on the seams, but it cleared by 2 or 3 yards, and we were able to win it 30-27.
And the favorite son has returned, first-year head coach for the Florida Gators. White's pass incomplete. Overton was the man he was looking for. Huey Richardson with his hands up and causing that pass to be thrown a little high. Huey left the ball game back early in the first quarter. He has been bothered by back problems, upper back problems. They put ice on it. And I have a feeling that the youngster is playing with pain, but he's still playing.
It's his last game at home. He wants to be a part of this, but you got to take your hat off to him. He really is playing a good football game. They are keeping Stan White off balance. Blitzing, faking blitz, coming, not coming.
Over the middle, Overton. What an effort for the catch at the 37. 17 yards in the pass play.
This time they come, 8-man blitz, man-to-man coverage. He beats Fain, gives him a little fake to the outside. Fain has to turn his back and watch. He lays out to get this one. Overton grabs it, holds on when he hits the ground, Dale was a walk-on here at Auburn, and he earned a scholarship.
White incomplete, throws high to Greg Taylor, and let's get an update from Tim Brando. Timmy.
In the Pac-10, Cal with an opportunity to beat UCLA and USC in the same year since 1958. Robbie Keane simply missed this one. Southern Cal and Cal played it with 31-31 tie. By the way, the last time Cal beat SC at the LA Coliseum, 1970. Great day for Pulowski and Russell White. Back to Ron, Gary, and Kevin.
Thanks, Tim. 62 points. Fans got their money's worth in that, although the Golden Bears probably a little blue. Pressure up the middle on White, and he is sacked. First man to hit him was Godfrey Miles and then Mark Murray.
No great mystery what's happening here. They're just coming out. It's an all-out blitz again. A little bit of good coverage. Watch, White has time to get rid of the ball, but the coverage downfield's good enough where he has to pull it down, and that's all the time you have against a blitz. You're going to get eaten up on those plays.
Gary, and in the second half, Stan has only completed one pass, but when you look at the numbers, remember scenes like that, and there's no way, nobody who can throw from that position, is there?
You give some credit to those secondary guys. They are man coverage back there, and they're doing a job.
Pass complete to Danley, and he'll take it across the 30-yard line. Huey Richardson got bumped what he thought was a little late on the play, and that's the reason big number 90 was up. And a standing ovation across the way in the student section again for this Florida Gator defensive team. Eighth punt of the night for Auburn. Terrence Barber gets by that first man and will not get by the second as the tackle is made. Well, the SEC standings, let's take another look at it. The Auburn Tigers were in control coming into this one, but they are about to go 3-1-1. Ole Miss is leading LSU down in Baton Rouge as they play in the fourth period. 19-10 is that score, so Ole Miss would go to 4-1 should they hold on. And of course, Tennessee 3-1-1, having been tied by Auburn and the loss at home to Alabama. Eric Rett. James Willis submarines him as he gets close to the 40-yard line. We're going to check with Big E here, who keeps stats for us in the booth, but I think Auburn for the ball game barely has over 100 yards total offense.
They have just been kept off balance with that pass rush so much. They don't, Stan doesn't have a feel if they're coming or not coming. Very good disguise, and when they come, they are coming, I'll tell you. 119
yards total offense Auburn with 1:18 left in the third. As the flag goes down, and McClendon will have to go back and realign on this one. 119 yards, and we are just about through 3 periods. In fact,
good ball, fall. Ball start. Right guard pulled out too soon.
Heck, when you consider what has happened on all the blitzing and the loss with the quarterback, which comes off rushing yardage, they are at minus 16 yards rushing tonight.
That is going to be very, very embarrassing for this very proud Auburn team. There's still some time, but when you look up at the scoreboard, and they have the stats on the scoreboard, by the way, you can look at them as the game goes along. You see a big 0 up there for rushing and only 5 first downs. You know you've had some problems.
Deep over the middle, Mills. In Auburn territory again, and it's John Wiley coming up to make the hit.
Not by Wiley.
When the offense is clicking well, your quarterback just feels when guys are getting open. Watch Matthews. Little fake. He turns. He delivers. There's not even a guy in the picture. That's how early he's throwing the ball. The ball is to the area before the receiver. Everybody's on the same page. The receiver's going the right depth. The line is blocking properly. The running backs are going and holding the linebackers. Everybody's in conjunction. The offense is just clicking.
Willie McClendon cuts in behind the block, and he spins it down to the 40. That's going to be a gain of 9. Dennis Wallace, the strong safety, comes up defensively. Kirkpatrick with an excellent block to spring his running back.
Kirkpatrick again. This time he's going to be on Reggie Barlow, number 89. Barlow takes the outside. Kirkpatrick stays in his face, and McClendon goes inside, just like you draw it up. As a tight end, all you have to do is get in somebody's face, latch on without getting a holding penalty, and push.
4 fingers go in the air. It is fourth period time. We will take a break.
A new high-output 4-liter engine, anti-lock brakes, and exclusive shift-on-the-fly full-time 4-wheel drive. Make Jeep Cherokee the ultimate vehicle for the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
Save up to $2,500 on 1990 Cherokees or get 50th anniversary discounts on select 91s.
There are those who thirst for something different. Something beyond the ordinary. For them, there is a beer that refreshes like no other. Michelob Dry. Once you've experienced its bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
When you're out street hiking, you better know how to read the terrain. First, trust your instincts. By all means, avoid distractions. Do your best to preserve the wildlife, because street hikers don't just walk, they hike. Fresh shoes, Joe.
At BASF, we don't make the plane, we make it lighter. We don't make the lotion, we make it smoother. We don't make the dress, we make it brighter. We don't make the carpet, we make it tougher. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF, the spirit of innovation.
If you choose to finance or lease your new GM vehicle someplace other than GMAC, you might find yourself waiting in line instead of out hugging one. GMAC. Nobody wants to put you and GM quality on the road faster.
Gainesville, Florida, the final 15 minutes. And as we mentioned at the practice field on Thursday afternoon, a plane flew overhead pulling a banner that said, "Go Gators, beat Auburn." It has been that kind of spirit in preparation for this one. And tonight it has been all Florida Gators. On the second and short, I'm not sure if McClendon's going to have that or not from where the spotting's going to be. It looks like third down and still about a half yard to pick it up. Much emotion. Florida, under NCAA sanctions, cannot win the SEC and cannot go to a bowl game. This add the fact that it is a great rivalry with Auburn and the last time that these seniors will play here at Florida Field. And they have combined all of that for a magnificent effort through 3 quarters to lead 41-7. Now this time Shane Matthews just takes it ahead. Lamar Rogers on the bottom of the pile.
You know, Ron, officially they might not be able to win the SEC and go to the Sugar Bowl, but you won't be able to tell these seniors if they go and get a 10-win season, something that Florida has never done, win 10 football games in a season, that they haven't accomplished a lot this year. And they'll take home maybe not a trophy or a Sugar Bowl trophy, but in their mind they're going to believe they're SEC champs for the 1990 season.
You know, let's point up again. They did not make that, by the way. The punting team comes on. What you said was, and that is a surprise to a lot of people, Florida, in the history of their football program, has never won 10 football games regular season.
Well, they've still got a ways to go. They got some tough games.
But without a doubt. But it's still amazing, even that number, don't you think?
I was shocked we read it and got it, that fact. And You know, you think of the great tradition of Florida football, they've never been able to get that magic number 10.
Martin Chajewski to get the punt away. Tries to angle it, but well, this one is going to take a Florida bounce, and Odom will down it at the 2-yard line. And let's go down to the field and Kevin Kiley.
Thank you, Ron. Maybe it was the number 4 team in the country, Auburn. Maybe it was the predicaments that the University of Florida football team, a fine football team, found themselves in. No bowl game, no SEC title, no national title. Whatever it was, it attracted a lot of media. In fact, a record amount of media. 437 representatives of the national and local media here at Florida Field to watch Florida take apart Auburn tonight. Back up to you.
All right, Kevin, let me give credit to Bromley. It was 52 rather than 57 who downed the punt at the 2. Those linemen don't get much credit, so they don't miss it. McIntosh in the ballgame at quarterback. Hands off to Danley, and he takes it out for some breathing room out around the 10-yard line. Monty Grill from the free safety spot is there to make the stop.
You know, another important fact about tonight is that Florida had 125 key recruits at this football game, and I think they're having a good time, and I know Steve is having a good time showing them this type of a game tonight.
It's so important, particularly when you play a big conference rivalry and you have recruits in, and you really don't want to boot that one in front of you. Fee Bartley again on the defensive play, and Danley simply had nowhere to go. Let me correct what I said of the SEC standing a while ago. Tennessee with 2 victories rather than 3, with the 1 loss and the 1 tie. I think, yeah, there it is. 2 1-1 rather than 3 1-1.
Not Wild. I don't think he's going to have a chance tonight to pull off another miracle. But he's done it a couple times.
Boy, John has been great consistency for them, particularly on the big kicks. But you're right, not in that position tonight. McIntosh avoids the rush, and oh my goodness, what a catch by Victor Hall. Tight end pulls it down at the 20-yard line, and that will move the chains, and Auburn will keep this drive alive. Good for 12.
Little bootleg action. McIntosh is coming out. And this is a tough throw. When he comes out, he's going to have someone in his face, and there you see he's got a guy in between him. Number 41, Ed Robinson, and he lays it up over Spear right there, and Hall makes a nice catch. Nice throw by Frank McIntosh.
Frank is a senior, Camden, Wilcox County. Alex Smith in the ball game, a junior from College Park, Georgia, number 21. McIntosh running for his life now, gets it away complete. That's Baxter across the 40 and out to the 44. And let's go to Tim Brando and get another update.
I want to talk about an amazing day between TCU and Houston. Matt Vogler playing for Leon Clay, who's out for the remainder of the year, 44 of 79, 690 yards. That is an NCAA record for a single game. Klingler of Houston, well, he had some good numbers too. 36 of 53, 563, 7 touchdowns in the game. Also, his 7 consecutive 400-yard-plus stay in the air. That is a passing record as well, Ron.
What they do, play basketball down there, Tim?
Can you imagine being a linesman or a stats keeper on that one?
One team threw, what did he say, 600 yards?
690.
690, and the other guy threw for 560. Holy cow. He must have wore treads into the field on that one. There was tracks all over going up and down. 690 yards passing by one team.
Florida being asked to step back beyond the restraining line there. You can imagine with the exuberance of the team, we still have 11:27 to play on this one. They're inching a little bit closer. The officials willing to push him back. McIntosh on first down. Sets well and delivers it over the middle to Taylor at the 41-yard line. Monty Groh is there defensively.
That's the 3rd nice pass that Frank has thrown in a row. This one right on the button to Taylor. Little curl route. He gets back in the pocket, sets up very nicely, and delivers it. This Florida defense now, though, is not giving the same blitzing look that Stan White saw earlier in the game. They're sitting back in the zone a little bit, having a little mercy on him.
You know, this is Auburn's longest drive of the night so far, 56 yards. Fee Bartley from the outside, and in from the inside, Mark Murray, number 54, the senior from Apopka, Florida. I mean, McIntosh had to dodge Fee Bartley to keep him losing his head.
You see Fee come off the corner, and number 21, Alex Smith, tries to get him, but he forces up into the pocket, and Murray just comes in and gets the cleanup sack. Fee Bartley, he just makes play after play. You know, the more you watch the guy, you say, well, it's because of his position, he's out in the open, but he is so aggressive, and he hits people without even breaking stride. A real deluxe hitter.
Herbert Casey in motion. McIntosh throws it incomplete. Defensively, Jimmy Spencer. He's a senior out of South Bay. Didn't start the ball game tonight. Del Spear did, and he got a hand on it. Pressuring the passer, number 50, Brad Culpepper. Spencer does an excellent job on the special teams. He's got 2 of their 4 blocks on the punt team.
Jimmy Spencer, who had been the starter, was replaced by Del Spear, but still, he's got the speed. He can run, and he's been, you know, he got a little bit blamed for the long pass that Tennessee hit over him, the tight end pass. But, you know, that was an in-stride pass 50 yards down the field.
Well, Spencer, the guys were giving him trouble yesterday in the individual punt block action because he overran a couple, and they made him go back and do it again. Screen pass to the left side. Alex Smith going to be hit by Jerry Odom and knocked down. It's going to be 4th down at the 49-yard line.
Jerry Odom, the senior, just has a way of getting in, getting under people, and getting in your hair. The screenplay, Bob Meeks, number 70, should have him cleaned up, but he fakes him, makes the play, bounces outside. So frustrating for a lineman to have a little linebacker come out like that and make you look kind of bad on a screen pass.
Richie Nell, good hanging kick, and Barber's just going to catch that and run out of bounds at the 21. 41-7, Florida.
The bigger than ever, better than ever 1991 Chevy S10 Blazer 4-door.
We wanted a motel, but Dad said camping's a thing. And my brother came along. Yuck!
Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 25% more cargo room and 100% more doors.
But so did my best friend Linda.
4-door S10 Blazer. Open one up and see why more people are winning with
the heartbeat of America.
Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
Next time you experience headaches, backaches, nausea, and sleepless nights, there is one way to get relief fast. GMAC. We make financing and leasing your new GM vehicle painless.
A Michelin tire can give you enough miles to circle the world more than 2 times. That's a lot of trips to Grandma's.
New West, the new skin scent for him by Aramis.
ESPN's College Football Saturday, Auburn at Florida, is brought to you by GMAC, helping America put GM quality on the road. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. Ron Franklin, Gary Danielson, and Kevin Kiley at Florida Field in Gainesville. And we've got rain falling here in Gainesville. 41-7. The Gators leading this one. They probably don't feel it at this juncture. Draw play to McNabb. He'll have one, maybe a couple. And let's go to Tim Brando as flags go down here.
Ron, I know you're interested in LSU Ole Miss. Ole Miss could be putting this game away. They've missed a field goal, leading 19-10. Here they are again inside the Tiger 20. Tom Luke looking for Vincent Brownlee, picked off by Corey Raymond, his second interception of the game. Ole Miss has the ball inside LSU territory again. Tale of 2 teams going in different directions. Mississippi, if they get a win, providing Florida does what they obviously are doing, could get to the sugar. LSU may be out of the bowl picture for good. If they lose this game, the Independence Bowl, a possibility, but that may be the only one that would want the Tigers if they're 4-4. Back to Ron.
Thanks, Tim. So the Ole Miss Rebels holding on to a 9-point lead. Of course, they still have the Tennessee Volunteers. That game up in Memphis, and they still have, of course, arch rival Mississippi State coming up as their final game of the year.
You got to have the feeling that there's all the bulls in the country are on conference calls right now, reshuffling who they're going to have in these bowl games.
Followed by dead ball fall, personal fall, blue.
The shot of Cunningham, he was one of the players involved. Ismail was the other person involved in the skirmish. You know, we've had gorgeous weather here the last couple of days, but with the wind blowing, this pretty good little monsoon coming in here.
I'll tell you, when you get this straightened out, first they marched it off one way, now they're coming back the other direction. Let's take a look and see what happened on this play. Kerrigan Cunningham, number 47. Here the whistle blows. He gets shoved a little bit by Ishmael. He comes right back, hits him in the face. The two guys, one is during the play and one is after. You know, when you got a guy down like that, you're frustrated, you're out there, you're going to take a swing at anything. And it's just the tough part of the game. You've waited, you're a senior, you're playing for the SEC championship, and all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and it's 41-7. And it's raining, the crowd's singing, and somebody shoved you from behind.
9:16 left. Could not decipher exactly what the conversation was, as they're still discussing on the far side of the field.
I don't think it's going to affect the outcome of the football game too much.
Pat Dye has been given the explanation on what happened. Ron Gilbert, our referee tonight. So the ball is being respotted at the 23-yard line, and the yard marker shows first down. And let's go down to Kevin Kiley to update the situation. Kevin?
All right, Ron, near as I can tell, it's a dead ball foul on both teams. They stepped off 15 yards, but then they had to bring it back, and I believe it's first down.
Clint, is it raining hard down there, Kim?
Was that inductive or deductive reasoning? Rhett with a little reverse. Took the ball, counter step, went back to the right, and will step out of bounds, which is just what his coach did not want. He'd like for the clock to continue to run with 8:55 remaining in this one. Mike Campbell was there defensively. Boy, the national picture takes on a real complexion change, I guess.
Well, no doubt Notre Dame's going to jump to number one, and they deserve it with the schedule they play. And if they can finish off this season and finish off with Tennessee, Penn State, and Southern Cal and win those 3 football games, they deserve their number 1 ranking no matter what happened today.
Red on the draw play, and he will make it to the 30-yard line.
You know, I guess the other thing that starts shaping up here right now is what about a little Orange Bowl rematch? My pick early in the year, Colorado, is back in it a little bit. They're climbing forward. They knocked off Nebraska in Nebraska. You know, one of the things we were talking about, Ron, is how those teams with the weaker schedules, they've been knocked all year. There's been a little bit of hesitation to put Nebraska up any higher because of their weak schedule. In Virginia, everybody was down them. They both lose at home this weekend.
Yeah, and at home is a great point. I think Notre Dame should move back to the number 1 spot as well. It's been an unbelievable schedule with a lot of work left to go. Knocked out of bounds, and now a flag comes down. That's Alex Thomas, who spun him down out of bounds. What we thought was just going to be a little shower now has turned into a fairly severe thing, and a lot of people are heading to the exits. The marker comes down at the 27-yard line.
There you go.
It was a face mask. and a 5-yard face mask penalty against the Auburn Tigers. So it will be 3rd down Florida. They need to take it out to the 48-yard line. Okay, Gare, who goes to number 2, who goes to number 3, and who goes to number 4 then? Review.
Well, you know, a team that has really been playing well and coming on strong, I think, is Washington. They can make a claim.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
However, Colorado did beat them, so they're going to be in a position to at least argue that point. There's a lot of time to go, but I think Washington, Colorado,
Houston,
Notre Dame, Houston all have claims. And, you know, could BYU sneak back up there again, too?
Scoreboard show coming up immediately following the ball game as Lee Corso will visit with Mr. Brando about this evening's happenings and also converse even more about what we've been talking about here, is about what is going to happen with not only the top 10 but the entire top 25, but the shuffle will really be on at the top. Krzyzewski does not hit this one well, but he gets a good floor to bounce. It's going to go inside the 40-yard line, so we'll take a break. 7 minutes left in the ball game. The Gators by 34.
Turn back the clock to when the world was a gentler place, and you'll find yourself in Philadelphia at Strawbridge & Clothier, a department store founded in 1868 by 2 gentlemen who believed in the unique principle that you never say no to a customer. So if you go, expect to be pampered, and bring your Visa card. Because at Strawbridge & Clothier, they still don't take their customers for granted, and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
So much to do and so little time. When it's time to finance or lease your new GM vehicle, let GMAC do it right in the dealership. GMAC. Nobody wants to put you and GM quality on the road faster. So you'll have time for more important things.
Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
41-7, Florida leading. And some kind of surprise here tonight at Florida Field. Auburn tonight, real rushes, plus 22 yards, but because of a minus 42 on sacks, they have a net of minus 20 yards rushing this evening. Total yardage 164. McIntosh lofts this one, and he has got Taylor open. Can't hold on, just inside the 20. It's Will White with the cover.
You know, and to kind of emphasize that point, when you look up at the scoreboard and see 0 yards rushing, Florida still has their starters in there. I think they'd like to finish this game off with a big 0 for rushing yards for Auburn, and they want to put a big period at the end of this sentence tonight. They're still out there. Murray's still out there. Odom's still out there. Richardson's still out there. They're going to finish this game off. They don't want to give up yard 1.
McIntosh 4 of 8, 47 yards since he's come to the game. Pressure hit by Fee Bartley, and that has been, what am I going to say, incomplete pass, as Florida went diving for it at the 30-yard line, and McIntosh shaken up, but he gets right back up.
Well, Fee Bartley's got to either be one of the best players in the country or have the best position to play in the country, because nobody blocks him all night. And I'm sorry, that's not a pass either. He caught him as he was bringing it back. And Fee Bartley, he again just runs through the quarterback like he's not even there. Look at that, clean hit. He did not duck his head, put his face right into the quarterback, and the 4 Auburn quarterbacks tonight have not had a good time. Speaking of good times, Fee Bartley's having a good time. Who wouldn't?
Oh, he's had a blast. 2 of 14 for Auburn tonight on 3rd down conversions. Touchback goes to John Stewart, and John is not going to have it. Not even close at the 42. It's Mark Murray defensively for the Florida Gators. I don't think those people feel the rain.
No.
Not with a 41-7 score.
Well, the Gator fans feel no pain, no rain. They are hurt.
Punting to Monty Duncan, I should say. Duncan makes the fair catch, and we'll take a break. 6:10 left in this one.
Do you know what open-end mutual funds are?
The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Money and Markets tells you in clear, simple English.
Do you know how to spot trends in stocks?
And what stock options are?
And zero coupon bonds?
And the difference between Treasury bills and Treasury notes?
Everything you want to know about the sometimes baffling world of money and investing is in this remarkable 120-page book. And now it's yours free when you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page Guide to Understanding Money and Markets. That's 13 weeks of the journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, now for only $34. Call toll-free 800-642-7400. Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-642-7400 now.
Mike Singletary hits hard, but not like the hard-hitting football news on ESPN's Emmy Award-winning NFL Game Day. The team of Berman, Axtell, Jackson, Edelstein, and Deisman hit the air each Sunday. Jerry Rice can cover the field, but not like the football coverage on ESPN's hour-long NFL Game Day. We'll take you all around the NFL and inside the numbers. NFL Game Day, Sundays at noon Eastern, only on ESPN.
41-7 the score as you look at the Auburn band down in the corner of the end zone. They've tried to do their part tonight, but it just was not meant to be here at Florida Field this evening. Eric Rett, that's Wallace from the strong safety position, who jumps up and makes a hit. Let's take a look at some of the teams we've talked about, remaining schedule. Notre Dame at Tennessee next week. Penn State at home, they close at Southern Cal. Washington, they have UCLA at home at Washington State. Colorado, they have Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Both of those are at home. And of course, for the Houston Cougars, I know next week they are in Austin, Texas to take on the Texas Longhorns.
And the Longhorns are sneaking up slowly.
Longhorns won over Texas Tech today. They have one loss, that one against Colorado. And the Cougars undefeated. And of course, Georgia Tech has only a tie against them. That is going to be enough for the first down as Rett again runs with a little counter step and then brings it back almost like a naked situation. Picks up the first down. 8 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown for him tonight. Excuse me.
This is the fun time of the game. You get to think of all kind of hats you can wear on the sideline. Look at there, you see Culpepper. He's got a towel wrapped around. Little chic action. Get to sit back, cheer, let the rain hit you. The last football game. Seniors are happy, mothers are happy.
Eric Rett, good read on this one, little stutter step and goes back to the right. Now the BC players of the game will be announcing those, one from each team, as we come down the home stretch in this one. Right now it's 4 minutes and 50 seconds left to play. We got a lot of candidates, particularly on the Florida side of the football.
I think the guy who's done the best job for Auburn may be their punter tonight. At least he got him off. And
you're stealing my thoughts, but it's very true. Against a team that, as we talked about, works so hard and is awfully good. They've already blocked 4 this year. In fact, that unit has 35 points of either causing blocks or miscues. Matthews going long, and that's Mills incomplete. Defensively, Alex Thomas had the cover on him all the way. Now that surprises me a little bit, and you can hear the Auburn fans booing down to our left, and I'm not really sure that I can blame them with a 41-7 lead and to put it up on top.
Well, you know, when you're getting beat that bad, you know, they still have Shane Matthews in the football game, and they're trying to score points. You get beat that bad, you really don't have any complaints, though. You know, if you want to stop them, go stop them. Football game's got 4 minutes to go. Go out there and play football.
Rhett, one man to beat. They push him out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. John Wiley was the guy who got him.
Well, one time they go for the big pass. This time they just run it up the middle. Which play's more effective? Rhett pops through. He's into the secondary. Out the side. Just a good-looking runner. Watch. He switches hands with the ball. That gives him the straight arm so he doesn't get hit, and he protects the ball a little bit.
He's got 129 yards on the game tonight. Right again in the draw play. John Wilson there to make the stop for the Auburn Tigers. We're about to go under 4 minutes to play. Coming up after the game, Tim Brando and Lee Corso with the College Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Residence Inn. Those gentlemen have a bunch to talk about this evening. You're right about the bowl people.
They're burning the phones, aren't they?
They're shuffling some feet right now.
It's a lot of fun. I tell you, everybody is in it. We've got a lot of balanced teams.
Rhett got tripped up just by a hand, and a flag comes down, and now a couple. Campbell is the man who tripped him up just as he went through the hole. He was breaking for daylight.
Well, some of the second liners are in. Number 73, freshman Jim Watson. Watch him pull and get in there. Fits very nicely, and Rhett just trips over the line right there. Sometimes those lines are bigger than the other lines, and going to march off some more yards.
Stankunas.
Oh, personal foul. Defense. Automatic first down, first and goal.
That was Stankunas, number 29, who came in and hit him after he had gone to the ground. So this moves it now to the 7-yard line. The 3-yard line is Randolph. And let's go to Tim Brando. Understand he has a final of that LSU Ole Miss game.
That's right, Ron. LSU goes to 4-4, but I want to talk about Billy Brewer. What a job he has done. He is 8-1, scholarship limitations because of probation, the Chucky Mullins tragic story. Ole Miss now has a week off to prepare for Tennessee. Tennessee will have to play Notre Dame before they get Ole Miss. The game in Memphis, just a few miles from Oxford. Ole Miss with a schedule advantage going into that game.
I think he's right. He's done a great job. You know, you had a lot of people picking for the SEC title, but Mississippi.
Rhett. His second.
That's that misdirection pitch again. He starts one way, the line hold their blocks, and he flies into the end zone. Uh-oh. Eric Reddy catches the pitch, and it's misdirection back the other way, and he takes a full head of steam right into the end zone, lands about 5 yards deep, and goes into his routine.
Well, with that, that's the most points ever scored against a Pat Dye team, and the extra point attempt still in front of us here. Chepsky knocks it home, and that makes it the Florida Gators 48 and the Auburn Tigers 7. Who would have thought it? So for the seniors, a very big and dramatic evening for them. And we showed you the senior walk as they came through the tunnel, being patted on the back and handshakes with the underclassmen as they came through.
You know, I think your points are so right, though. These seniors have gone through a lot in this program.
They are resilient, aren't they?
And this defense for the past couple of years has been one of the best in the country. There you get a shot of Murray right there. He's played defensive end. He's played, and the Jerry Odom. There you go. Get into it, Jerry.
Jerry's daddy, of course, the head coach at Merritt Island, has won 3 state championships in the state of Florida.
But the seniors deserve a lot of credit. They've provided the leadership. You know, each one of these games has been their bowl game. And again, let's point out the fact they are not going to be SEC champions, but don't tell these guys, if they win the rest of the games, that they aren't the champions of the SEC. They will walk around the rest of their life saying everybody that wants to listen.
The conversation about November the 3rd, 1990 will be relived many times in many years to come. You know, for guys like Kirkpatrick and Terrence Barber, Ernie Mills. Cherry runs out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So we have 2 minutes and 24 seconds to run off the clock. And the Florida Gators will win their 7th game against only 1 loss. Auburn will go to 6-1-1.
There they are, guys on the sidelines. They're going to someday get together and talk about this game. You know, guy I also want to salute, Huey Richardson. He came in, he had 12 sacks last year as an outside linebacker. They asked him to move to defensive end where he was going to be involved a little bit more, taking on people, not the big impact player as he can be on the outside. He's going to be involved in helping his football team. And Richardson has been very unselfish. He's done what he's asked to do. He's had a great year this year, and he's done it at a position that he never played before. You know, and a lot of guys get, you know, they say all they care about is themselves. There's a guy that just sacrificed his personal stats for the good of the football team.
That's a great point. And you know, Jim Bates talked about, you know, what all he had asked him to do. Big night for that fellow there, Ephesians Bartley.
You know, Ephesians is playing linebacker. Last year he was a strong safety, but he's all over the field.
There's Bromley.
Chris Bromley, the senior captain, has had 23 consecutive starts. His leadership has helped him through a lot of tough times, and tonight he gets to celebrate.
And on the other side of the field, the pictures speak volumes. And like I said, just 3 weeks ago tonight, we were in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we saw those same expressions on the guys wearing those orange headgears. Sometimes these nights happen, and sometimes the magic works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, this is going to put a dash in Auburn's NCAA hopes of winning the national championship. But they still have a chance to win the SEC title. They've got to regroup now. They've still got 2 big football games in the SEC, and they've got a chance to still win.
So let's update the standings in the SEC. Ole Miss 4-1. Florida will be 4-1, and don't forget, the asterisk means ineligible for the SEC championship. Auburn will go to 3-1-1. Tennessee at 2-1-1. And hey, don't forget what Florida has coming up. They call it one of the really large parties around. They've got Georgia coming up. That game is played in Jacksonville, and that is an affair. .140 left in the ball game.
Everybody's going to get a chance to come in and play a little bit now, but not the type of night that Auburn wants to play as the backups when you come in and have to play from behind like this. You don't mind getting in the game late when you're ahead, but when you get in there when you're behind, that's not how you wanted your opportunity to play.
McIntosh over the middle, knocked down, and that ball very close to being intercepted by Darren Mickle. Let's go down to Kevin Kiley.
Thank you, Ron. We talked about senior leadership on this team, this Florida team, and of course one of the great seniors on the team is linebacker Jerry Odom. This is Jerry's parents, Peggy and Gerald Odoms. Gerald, a 3-time state championship coach at Merritt Island in Florida. First, Peggy, to put it mildly, probably one of the most tumultuous eras in the history of Florida football. Jerry's been here all 4 years. What has it meant to him, and has it helped him as a man and as a player?
Well, I do think it probably has given him a chance to step forward and take a leadership role that he might not have done otherwise.
Gerald, you're a football coach. You certainly would like to see your son come win a championship, play on great teams. He has played on great teams. Are you satisfied with his career here in Florida?
Yeah, I'm really satisfied. I think the only thing we're probably disappointed in that he didn't redshirt. He came here when they were really down and they needed people on their special teams, so he didn't get to play. If he'd have redshirted, he'd have had 1 more year. But those things, you got to play when they want you. And they needed him then. So
what's in Jerry's future?
Well, I think he's going to go into coaching. I talked to him long about it, but that's what he wants to do, and I think he'd be a real good coach. Right now, he's worried about the rest of the season, but I think he's going to end up being a football coach.
All right, well, you certainly set a good example. Jerry Odom's one of many very fine seniors on this Florida team. Ron, back to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Kev. I know that the Odom family extremely proud of this young man.
Uh-oh. Looks like we can make it a little Gatorade bucket here. Murray and Culpepper are laying in wait. I hope Spurrier's got to put his visor on right now. It looks like he's got a rain jacket on, but he's going to get doused with a little bit more than rain in a minute.
Of all the two guys on the team, I mean, those guys are almost inseparable. Murray, Culpepper, and Odom is always right there with him. Doesn't surprise me that they're the ones grabbing the Gatorade. 22 seconds left in this one. Brian Fox running the team at quarterback. Kendall Cook takes it down to the 40, and we will let the crowd count this one down for you.
They got him.
And the Florida Gators, from the get-go, letting know that this was their night. Let's take one more look at Steve getting his orange bath. Oh, it's green. I'm sorry. They gave him the green stuff. And let's go down to Kevin Kiley with a wet Steve Spurrier.
All right, down on the field here with Steve Spurrier. Steve, in your wildest imagination, do you think you could thump Auburn this badly?
Well, actually, these games happen like this a lot of times. If we had time to throw the ball and our offensive line had its best game of the year, we felt like we could throw it. And we got an excellent group of runners, and our guys were really ready to play, and we played well here at Florida Field. So, you know, if everything went right, it could happen. But if everything went right for them, we could have been on the short end.
Okay, you came into a tough situation. No national championship, no SEC title, no bowl game. Where does this game fit in?
Well, we can still finish top of the SEC, and that was the goal at the beginning of the year. Playing Alma Mater. Let's see it.
Back upstairs to you, Ron. Thank you, Jerry.
Again, a congratulations to Steve Spurrier and his Florida Gator team. We're going to take a break. We will come back with more from Florida Field, but right now, let's pause for this. Florida 48 and Auburn 7.
The bigger-than-ever four-door Chevy S10 Blazer. Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The bigger-than-ever, better-than-ever 1991 four-door S10 Blazer. Open one up and see why more people are winning with. Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Heard from an old student. Remember Brian McKenna? Smart kid.
Good ball player. Great hands. Where's he going to college?
He's not.
Too bad.
Studying aviation electronics.
But you said...
In the Navy, then college.
The Navy College Fund in Montgomery GI Bill. Over $25,000 for your college education.
You and the Navy.
Like I said, smart kid.
Full speed ahead.
In 1843, all most could expect from life was to live, work, and die, and maybe leave something for their families. Then Mutual of New York sold the nation's first mutual life insurance policy and returned a dividend, an idea called money for life that's provided 146 years of uninterrupted dividends and annuities and pensions for a new generation to enjoy while they're still around to do it.
Mutual of New York. Money for life.
Again, our final score, Florida 48 and Auburn 7. And many of these players really not wanting to leave Florida Field tonight as they head up the tunnel. Our players of the game brought to you by Visa. Tonight for the Auburn Tigers, the gentleman who wears number 9, free safety John Wiley. 7 solo tackles for him this evening. Had a very fine ball game. And for the Florida Gators, the youngster number 9, Shane Matthews. His numbers tonight, 18 of 28, 207 yards. Hit his first 9 passes on the evening. Visa will award to each school $1,000 for being selected as our players of the game, and also $1,000 for each player to the U.S. Olympic team. Gary, closing comment from you tonight.
We thought there were 2 keys to this football game. Pat Dye believed he could run the ball against this Florida defense. He was obviously wrong. 0 yards rushing in this football game, including the sacks, but still a big 0 on the scoreboard. Secondly, they had to have some pass protection. He felt he could throw the ball. They had great.
Okay, so for some Florida seniors, their final game here at Florida Field. And in fact, the official numbers say this is an all-time rushing low for the Auburn Tigers as they finish with a minus 14 yards. We thank you for joining us. Now for Kevin Kiley and Gary Danielson, this is Ron Franklin saying so long. The Gators 48 and the Tigers 7. Tim Brando.
All right, Ron, Gary, and Kevin, thank you very much. And the times, they are changing atop the top 10. We welcome you to the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard. Some of you may be surprised at the score, the final score in that game. One guy that perhaps isn't as surprised.
I know as far as the defensive line effort, I think I owe a lot of that to Coach Anderson. All week in practice, he really got hot.
First and 10 now for Shane Matthews. Fakes to the tailback and throws the ball deep down the field to a streaking Trey Everett. Makes the catch. Touchdown!
Welcome to Florida Football with Steve Spurrier. Today's show is brought to you by Dairy Farmers Incorporated, producers of milk. It does a body good. By First Union Service. We guarantee it. By Osmos and Great Southern Wood, the most trusted name in wood preserving. By Golden Flake. One taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake. And by Chevrolet and your Florida Chevrolet dealers.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Florida Football Highlights. I'm Mick Hubert, along with head coach Steve Spurrier. After the Gators, a big 45-13 win over Georgia, clinching at least a share of the Southeastern Conference title. The Gators with another win now, with a record of 8-1, 6-0 on the year. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you, Mick. It certainly was a solid total team victory. Really proud of the entire team, especially proud of 7 linemen. Tony McCoy, Harvey Thomas on the defensive side, and the 5 offensive linemen, Cal Dixon, Isham Ishmael, Jim Watson, Tony Rowd, Mark White. They would not put on the long sleeve shirt. They made a point to let everybody on our team know, hey, it's not cold out there. And we're going to go after them, and we're not going to worry about the wind and the chill, and we're going to go play football. And I think that inspired us a little bit as far as our pregame preparation. Those guys were ready to play, and we forgot about the chilly breeze and the weather and went out and played football. And it seemed like when the game started, the wind stopped a little bit. It seemed like it almost got a little bit warmer down on our sideline, and of course our guys played beautifully. Just a total team effort. Our offensive line and defensive line really deserve credit for the victory.
The Gators had 512 yards of offense in this game, 29 first downs. They held Georgia to just 221 yards, and you're right, Coach. Both sides were ready, and I think that's a tribute to the coaching staff and the mental preparation to come back with another strong effort after last week's win against Auburn.
Well, that's exactly right, Mick. I really think our team has matured in that we're getting ready to play each week. The Syracuse game was really probably good for us looking back. We found out if we do not get ready and prepare that certainly anyone can beat us. But if we do what we need to do during the week and come in mentally sharp and ready to play, certainly we can play with about any team in the country. And that's what our guys have done since then. So extremely proud of the seniors and the entire team. Shane Matthews was as sharp as he always is in the Gator Bowl. Of course, he's been sharp every game this year. But the protection was excellent. Receivers are catching everything. And defensively, though, we're in conference games, what our defense has done has just been amazing. So we got one more big one with Kentucky and then Florida State, and see what happens after that.
Let's take a look at the highlights from the sold-out Gator Bowl, and for the second week in a row, the Gators come out and score on their very first possession.
Right, it's always important to get ahead first. You can see Shane look left. The play was designed to go left, but he had Willie Jackson on the backside, a little out, and he comes back and hits him. Here's a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Harrison Houston, he caught everything he touched yesterday. What a receiver he's developed into, just a sophomore from Pensacola. Here's a little quick pass out there to Willie Jackson. As you can see, he made about 8 or 9 yards after he catches the ball. Willie's got excellent feet in that he can dodge the defenders and make those extra yards. Here's a draw play. Eric picking his way. Excellent blocking up front. Cal Dixon, you see there. Cal had a knee sprain earlier in the week, did not practice any after Tuesday, and played just about the entire game. Here's the touchdown. See Shane looking left, and then all of a sudden there's Willie Jackson just sort of getting open. Really was not the key receiver in the pattern, but Shane was able to look back, and you can see the confidence he's got in Willie Jackson. The guy's behind him, but he threw the ball where Willie had a chance to get his hands on it.
And it was 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line, and that finished off the Gators' 11-play, 77-yard drive, just 4.5 minutes into the game, 7-0 Florida.
Exactly right, Mick. We made a lot of third down. It's just a perfect throw here. Fee Bartley's got excellent coverage on Andre Hastings. We were sort of in a man coverage there, and the ball just was perfectly thrown. Zaire's outstanding quarterback. He's really going to probably rewrite all the Georgia passing records. Their records aren't real high, but he is an outstanding player.
But we were able to hold them to just a field goal on their drive.
That was crucial. I was certainly glad to see him run the ball on 3rd and 11 down there, and we had a blitz on. They ran right into us.
This was as close as the game would be. 7-3 Florida, middle first quarter.
As you can see, Shane gets back to his backs underneath. Dexter McNabb, I told the press yesterday, if he was playing tailback, he'd probably have just the same amount of yards as Eric Rett. He is an outstanding runner with the ball. It's just impossible for all of them to get the ball so many times. But watch Dexter here, and later in the game, when we're sort of running out the clock, he averaged about 6-7 yards per carry.
John Allen, the linebacker, went for the run there, and you saw him had to get back in the play and finally make the tackle, but not before Dexter went for 29 yards, and now we move to the second quarter of play.
Right, here's, I think, Willie Jackson or Alonzo Sullivan. Alonzo had a big game, got his first touchdown ever as a Gator, and then, of course, Eric Redd on the draw play. We were fortunate to hit a lot of third downs yesterday, Mick, and that's crucial in any game. If you're going to keep drives alive, you've got to convert a bunch of third downs. I think we were 8 of 15 on the night.
That was an 8-play, 71-yard drive, and here come the Gators back with a 7-play, 70-yard drive.
Right, the first half, I think we scored on something like 4 out of 5 possessions, or 4 out of 6. Here's Shane again, getting back underneath to his backs and making a first down for us. Here's the touchdown to Harrison Houston. As you can see, they were playing man-to-man, no safety in the middle of the field, and Shane spotted it through the perfect pass, and Harrison really got open, made an excellent move towards the corner and broke to the post. And you'll see him wide open here.
Great protection for Matthews to fire to Houston. He caught 6 balls for 93 yards yesterday. Jackson, 7 receptions for 80 yards. And the Gators go up 21-3, 9 minutes to play, second quarter.
As you can see, Tony McCoy flushing Zaire out of the pocket, got a hand on him, tripped him up. Tony just played the game of his life. He plays that way every week. What a leader he's been. Look at the hit by Fee Bartley here. This was a big play in the game. They were down in our territory, tried the reverse play. Fee splattered him right as he was trying to make the handoff there.
A loss of 18 yards. Gators would come back and now have the football 2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. This is Rhett for 9 yards.
Right, this is a little draw trap up the middle. Excellent blocking in there by Mark White, Cal Dixon, Jimmy Watson. And look at this protection. As you can see, Dexter McNabb. Watch this run by Lonzo Sullivan. Puts a little juke on their defensive back and outraces the entire bunch into the end zone.
This was after the Gators started at the 4-yard line, so it was an 8-play, 96-yard drive, and the Gators led 28-3, 2:19 to go in the half.
I think that run by Alonzo Sullivan really demoralized the Georgia team. We were up, what, 28-3 right now, and they come back and get a field goal right before half here. But keeping them out of the end zone was very important, I think, at this stage, because the field goal just did not give them the momentum I think they wanted to have.
There's one of their failed third downs. It was 3rd and 3 from the 8-yard line when the pass went incomplete, and their field goal goes through.
Well, it was ironic, Mick. Their field goal hit the upright and caroomed in, and Arden's hit and went the other way, but it didn't mean much as it turned out.
So the Gators with a big first half, a 28-6 lead as the teams go to the locker room, and we'll continue after these messages.
This is Steve Spurrier, coach of the Florida Gators, and I drink milk. I bet you've forgotten just how great milk tastes. So do yourself a favor. Drink an ice-cold glass of Florida fresh milk today.
Milk, it does a body good.
Looks can be deceiving, but when it comes to dairy foods, there's an easy way to tell you're not getting some cardboard imitation. Always look for the real seal, the sign of genuine dairy foods. Look for the seal and know it's real.
This is the strategy part of football, the playbook. A variety of plays for all the different situations to get the job done. Golden Flake has the same strategy, a variety of chips for tailgating or any occasion. Always fresh and crisp, Golden Flake is guaranteed to get the job done. So we'll memorize right 14 past Lonnie Jones. You just remember Golden Flake, always the right call. One taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake.
The First Union communication satellite saves only 1 second on every banking transaction, but it adds up to 120 man-hours a day. So First Union can give you millions of dollars in extra service at no extra cost. First Union is a leader in space because we want our service to be the best on Earth. First Union service, we guarantee it.
Well, I'm back from where Osmos treated lumber. There are other lumber yards, even offered me a special deal on their substitute brands. He said it was all the same, but I've heard that before. I use Osmos from Great Southern Wood. It's the only American-owned brand. Osmos is clean, it's straight, it won't rot, it's got a 40-year guarantee, it just plain looks better. There are imitations, but you won't catch me using them. Look, if it doesn't say Osmos on the tag, believe me, you don't want it.
As the Gators get ready and practice each week for the big football games, one might wonder, what does Albert the alligator do to get ready for the games? How does he spend his time? Is it in the depths of Lake Alice? Or where might Albert be? This week, Steve Babick goes inside Gator football as Inspector Babick to find Albert the alligator.
This is Inspector Babick.
This is Mrs. Jones. My son is depressed, and the only thing that'll cheer him up is Albert.
I see.
Can you help me?
I'll get right on the case. Profile Albert, born 1939 in Lake Alice, often seen in elementary schools and hospitals, making kids smile and the sick feel better. This could be my toughest case.
Does his name called? Is this the real Albert? The alligator. What of the horse? You need that? Yay. This one. This one. There you go. There you go.
Hi, has anybody seen Albert?
Yeah, just here.
Oh, he was at Chan's making kids happy. Do you know where he's headed? I think he was off in elementary school next to make other kids happy. Good. I'm off to there. Albert prints. Has anybody seen Albert? Yeah! Where'd he go? That way! Well, I'm might have to tell Mrs. Jones I just couldn't find Albert. Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. Well, another case solved. For Inside Gator Football, Inspector Steve Babick.
Well, you know, we at the University Athletic Association have a program, Steve, called the Goodwill Gators, and there's a prime example of that. I guess he's the chief Goodwill Gator, Albert.
He certainly is, and not only Albert, but there's an Alberta also, and I know my little boy Scotty, 4 years old, that's all he talks about. He wants to go see Albert and Alberta at the basketball games and any function in the O'Connell Center, but yeah, it's certainly a vital part of the Goodwill part of our football team and University of Florida. So Albert and Alberta, we're very proud of those two.
Hey, the Gators have a big halftime lead, 28-6, and we're going to come back and watch the exciting second half, and we'll do that when we continue in just a moment.
Now here's the latest news from the University of Florida.
More than 400 years ago, Pedro Menendez de Aviles sailed a ship from Spain to St. Augustine and into history. He brought more than 1,000 people to a plot of land just north of where the city stands today, making it the first successful European settlement on American soil. University of Florida's Kathleen Deegan is digging up the facts about this historic discovery.
The artifacts we found all dated before 1580, and we found barrow wells and indisputable evidence of Spanish buildings and Spanish occupation.
For example, settlers brought along storage jars for food and supplies, as well as beads and bells to trade with the Indians. Uncovering artifacts like these is messy, needle-in-a-haystack work, but eventually the effort pays off.
They just empty a wheelbarrow load of dirt down here, and you turn loose on it, and this stuff starts popping out at you with all kinds of materials and everything. And it's like hitting a jackpot when you really hit some fine stuff.
Put in on top.
Ironically, tourism helped keep these treasures safe. The site lies beneath the Fountain of Youth Park, leaving it virtually untouched by development. You could say the search for eternal youth gave this irreplaceable bounty eternal life.
Making a world of difference. The University of Florida.
The technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion. Goes into cars like this. The 1992 twin dual cam V6 Chevy Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Z34. From the heartbeat of America. The cars more people depend on.
You could put the most talented football team on the field, but if they're not fresh, you're in for a disappointment. But you'll never, ever be disappointed with Golden Flake potato chips, folks. You'll get a fresh, crisp, quality chip every time, bag after bag. Fresh is what you can expect from Golden Flake. That's why you better have plenty of Golden Flake reserves on hand. Was that a quarterback sneak or what?
One taste, and you're stuck on Golden Flake.
The University of Florida, the Fighting Gators and coach Steve Spurrier. It's a winning team, and today Pick and Save joins that team.
I'm committed to being the best I can be, so I've teamed up with Pick and Save to introduce my new sportswear collection. This durable, all-cotton activewear has style, quality, and affordability, from T-shirts and shorts to coordinated fashions and hats that'll set you apart from other fans. The Steve Spurrier Signature Collection, exclusively at your neighborhood Pick and Save.
One key stat in the second half, Georgia did not convert a third down. And Coach, we came out and scored again the first time in the second half. Didn't get a touchdown, but how big was the field goal to start the third quarter?
Oh, I think it was important to get some points after Myrick Anderson got his first interception of the year, first play of the second half. And we were able to drive down there and bog down a little bit inside the 10, and Arden kicked a field goal. But our defense was simply outstanding the entire night, Mick, and really the touchdown Georgia got, I think we had 2 or 3 penalties after we'd stopped them on third down. So that's an area that we're not very proud of, some of those unsportsmanlike conducts. We deserve some of them, But we've got to control ourselves a little bit better than what we did.
All right, let's pick it up. Second half, Georgia with the football, and watch for Myrick Anderson here.
Right, Zaire goes back to throw, and Darren Mickle gets a hand on his shoulder pad and caused him to throw the ball a little bit offline, and Myrick was in position and caught it. And that Myrick's really playing well for us at that bandit back position. Coach Zook sort of alternates he and Lawrence Hatch in sort of the nickelback scheme. You can see the excellent protection. There's Harrison Houston again. I think this was another third down play. And we bogged down, missed a third down pass there. We'd had a holding penalty anyway, so it wouldn't have counted if we'd hit it, but Arden converts the field goal. Here's a little shovel pass that, out of the shotgun that was pretty good for Georgia. I think they made a couple of nice gainers on that play. Our coverage is getting better and better each week, Mick. Linebackers, defensive backs. Here's, as you can see, we let Zaire out of the pocket. He scrambles around, and they make a nice completion down there at about our 30 or so. I think they went 3 plays. We stopped them, and then we got roughing the passer, and we got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that our player just sort of stuck his face in another player that had called him a name, but we got the penalty on it, so we've got to control ourselves better than what we did last night.
So they drove 64 yards, 14 plays, and it was 31-13 now.
Right, 31-13. This is just an 18-point difference and a lot of time left. I told Shane over there, I said, let's start using the clock a little bit. Let's see if we can't get Eric and have a long possession drive, and we did a fine job with it, as you can see here. We're in our 2 tight ends, and as you can see, Harrison's wide open in the flat. I think Georgia was, they were not expecting us to run the receivers in the flat. Here's the field goal that Karoom's the opposite way, but we ran a lot of time off, and we felt good that we could run the ball. So that was not a major disappointment right there.
So the ball game moves to the 4th quarter. Gators a 31-13 lead, and 1st and 10, 23-yard line. Eric Rett for 13 yards.
Right, draw play. Dexter McNabb, I think, may have had his finest game as a Florida Gator. His blocking was simply superb, and he ran the ball extremely well also. And here's the touchdown to Willie Jackson, a little up and in play, similar to the one we threw at Auburn last week, Mick. And Shane makes the perfect throw, and Willie's there, hits him right between the twos, and we got ourselves another touchdown.
Matthews, 22 of 32 for 303 yards. Arthur Marshall there with the reception.
Right, excellent defense. There's Lawrence Hatch, Ed Robinson, Timmy Paulk, Fee Bartley, Will White, Larry Kennedy, Dale Spear. All those guys are really playing super defense.
There was 3rd and 3 from the 21-yard line, and that pretty much sent the people home on the Georgia side. There's the orange and blue, and where's the red and black? They were going home. Gators in command here as the ball game winds down, and with Brian Fox operating, Dexter McNabb gets the ball.
Right, we were able to use 4 quarterbacks last night, Mick. Brian Fox had his possession, and they were blitzing. He audibled and threw a touchdown to Willie Jackson. So you've got to let your backup players go in there and play and throw a little bit. So Brian spotted a chance to throw a touchdown and went ahead to it. As you can see, he's checking off here, doing some hand signals.
And Brian Fox has thrown 2 touchdown passes on the year now. Willie catches 3 TDs for you yesterday, Steve. He has 41 catches, 10 of them are for scores.
Willie's been amazing for a guy that started out as I guess a 3rd teamer at the beginning of the season. But he's just a natural receiver. He catches everything. He runs precise routes. And when you get protection and the quarterbacks can throw as accurately as Shane and Brian, he's going to get a lot of touchdowns.
So the Gators score a 45-13 win. We'll come back and go in the locker room here from the winning Gators as we continue in just a moment.